Oh, your stream's on now.
Even when you lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Okay, it just came up. It just came up.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of BSL. Joining me this time around is Kogut/Razz. What's up?
Not much, Nyoken. I'm glad I could be 2 people at once. It'll probably help my multitasking, you know?
I mean, you're going to have insight into all the races today, man, and we need you for that. And we've got a Protoss, we've got a Terran, or 2 Terran, and we've got a Zerg. And this is a star-studded lineup because we've got Gypsy here, who's amazing, PvP, PvZ. BoA, he's a killer in PvT, I know from experience. And then we've got XuanXuan, who's always surprisingly does well in the tournament. And then we've actually got a newcomer here, Messiah. And every single time we've had a new Chinese player in the tournament, they've done extremely well. So I have high hopes for this group.
Yeah, I mean, NA's best here, right? Going up against some of the Chinese players who every season impress us and show us their skill level. Very aggressive players, which will be interesting in the BoA series because we know he's really aggressive and Gypsy can do it all. And we don't know Messiah, wild card. So a lot of interesting matchups here, style matchups. I think it's going to be a fantastic day.
Yeah, and our first map is going to be Dark Origin, and I know a lot of Zergs in ASL at least have had good success on Dark Origin. So this could be a tough map, surprisingly, for Gypsy, even though you would probably assume, even though Messiah's an unknown, you have no idea of his MMR or level, you would assume probably Gypsy's a favorite in that. But Dark Origin is a tough map. It's really hard to get across the bridges, like extremely difficult. So I'm looking very forward to that. And then on the other side, of course, playing a PvT on Dark Origin is no joke either.
Yeah, I find PvT on Dark Origin can be difficult into the mid to late game because where do you take your 5th bases, Protoss, man? It's just vultures out there, the tanks in the middle, you're fighting for that middle ground. It's hard to get that base, that 5th base hit, go into late game. So I wonder if we'll see some kind of shuttle style from him or if he's just going to go into carrier. It definitely will be interesting to see what happens on that map.
Yeah, we're getting a look at Gypsy's results in the past few seasons of BSL. You can see that lately he's been in the top 8, even made a top 3 in season 13. Generally, Gypsy is someone that you expect to go pretty far in the tournament. Meanwhile, like I said, Messiah, an unknown. I don't think you really need to think too much about what his actual MMR is because he played exactly the amount of games required, which is 40. So that 2244, it could be anything. It could be he's actually at 2500. He sandbagged a little bit. You never know. I do see that he's in the SVS clan, which is a well-known and very strong team. So our players are ready. So let's get into game 1. It's going to be Dark Origin, as I mentioned, Gypsy versus Messiah. Okay, in the top left position, it is in a Terran Hope, Gypsy.
And in the bottom right, the Teal Zerg. From China, it is Messiah. So now I see these spawns here. Not able to 8 racks on that spawn, correct? Because there's no wall that's going to make your Marines pop on the inside.
It's a little bit difficult to go for 8 racks here if you were to do that, or just go for a wall in general, but surprisingly in ASL a lot of players don't seem to care. They just 8 rack no matter what. Gypsy not going to risk going for a crazy opener versus an unknown player. I think that's fine. He just builds the depot in the main and likely just going to have racks in the main also, as we see right there. Meanwhile, Messiah just going to go 12 hatch.
Yeah, it seems to be 12 hatch, 12 pool, 12 gas, right? That seems to be one of the newer builds that we've been seeing coming out, trying to get to 2.5 hatch. We'll see if Messiah opts for that or if he's just going to play extremely standard and go with 2 hatch mutaplay.
Everything looks very normal from both sides. We've got Messiah likely to put down gas and pool at pretty much the same time. We've been seeing, yep, there it is, the typical 2 hatch style these days. Every now and then you see players go for a little bit later gas. They go for the 2.5 hatch type style, but this is just going to be a normal opener from him.
Yeah, everything's just staying standard here. Just probably wants to get into a game here with Gypsy. Not sure if he's familiar with him, if he's seen his streams, seen his games. I don't expect the Chinese players really ever to know who all the other foreigners are, but he might have prepped himself. And command center down before the Marine, right? Which seems to be standard when you just got a 12 hatch.
Yep, instant command center. He's just going to power off of this. Even cuts all of the Marines. He has a couple options here. He could rush his eBay to get fast +1. He can put down a fast second racks and just play Marine medic. We'll see what he wants to go for. The fact that there's no second racks by now makes me think it could be eBay. But as I say that, there it goes.
Yeah, so we'll probably see a little bit heavier Marine count. You think we'll maybe have some type of stim rush, right? We don't have a bunker, we don't have to worry about it, so maybe we can get some sort of stim rush in here and try to catch Messiah off guard.
Oh yeah, this is going to be the typical 8 Marine, probably 2 medic, move out with Firebats coming in the back. You know, Gypsy is somebody that watches a lot of replays, watches a lot of pro games, and in fact I do know on stream the other day he was checking out some of Messiah's games, so he has a good idea of what he's facing against. We'll see what he wants to do with this opener from him, because Terran, you know, they have a lot of options after going for a 2 racks. They can go 3 racks tech, they can go 2 racks tech, they can go 4 racks, just be in your face all the time. A lot of players in ASL have been actually going fast tech, so since Gypsy watches a lot of games, you may actually see that.
Yeah, I think that's positive, right? Especially against the 2 hatch, we saw a lot of Valkyrie builds. I think those are just so strong versus these 2 hatch muta openers to be able to push the muta back and try to get onto the map. Especially being able to pressure, like you said before, denying over the bridges would be really great to have some map control, especially in the mid game on this map. Having that center control is just such a massive advantage.
Well, you can see that Gypsy actually has his Marines quite far back, and this must be because he watched some games of Messiah being overly aggressive, because a lot of times you're not having the Marines that far back, so he must suspect that he could be facing a lot of speedlings, but we know that that's not the case. Instead, Messiah's taking a pretty damn fast third base, but remember, Gypsy rushed an academy. This third base is going to be extremely vulnerable, especially if Gypsy just moves out right now with his 7 Marines.
Yeah, I don't know how Messiah could hold that base if Gypsy just goes. Probably try to delay with the Lings, make the Marines chase a little bit, but I'm not sure that Gypsy cares. He's probably going to want to hit his timing and stim and get across the map as soon as possible, force out some Sunkins, hurt the eco of Messiah, and then push across. First scan goes down for Gypsy.
Well, despite it being a 2-player map, Zergs actually mix in third bases at a variety of positions. It could be top right, it could be bottom left, it could be where we're seeing it right now. I think that's the most common place. Gypsy, he's stimming for it, and the Sunken is going to be up in time because he built it pretty quick. Okay, is going to run. Now, he did lose 2 Marines, and that means that 5 Marines is not that strong once the mutas pop out. And because he went for that move, he's not going to feel confident to have healthy enough Marines to deny a 3rd base. So that bottom right base is actually going to get up and running.
Yeah, we saw Firebat traded out for the 4 Lings, so his push is definitely halted a little bit. He does not have any support from the Firebats if Messiah were to go some kind of Mutal Ling push here, but +1 attack on the way for Messiah. It seems like aggression is on the way, Nyoken.
Yep, we've got weapon upgrade from the mutas. You know, in the maybe about a year ago, armor was the go-to, but it seems like weapon has come back into the meta. Of course, you're able to 2-shot those turrets quite easily. You rack up a lot of damage with the upgraded Mutalis. But what is the follow-up going to be from Messiah? Because I don't see Hydra Den, I don't see Queen's Nest. He is just going to intercept these Marines in the middle of the map.
Gypsy Stim's pushing the muta back, got a lot of damage on that first muta. Oh, he picks one off, Nyoken, that's big.
Yeah, this is a good move out from Gypsy. He's also keeping the worker count down. He's forcing Messiah to spend all of his resources on just not dying. I don't see any links to support these mutas. So the mutas actually are not that strong at this current amount, which is just 7, but it is enough to one-shot SCVs. However, Messiah is not doing that at all. He's not even focusing on SCVs. He's worried that this Marine counterattack could deny his 3rd base.
Yeah, we see that he's going to be able to fight at the bridges here where you said he's the strongest. Gets a decent shot. Gypsy picks up another muta, backing up. A couple Marines go down.
Well,
Messiah's another hurt one.
Yeah, Messiah's doing a good job to keep the army at bay. Like, the army of Gypsy is not that big. Actually, Gypsy probably should get the hell off the map at this point. But what he is doing is he's keeping the drone count very low at 26, whereas Gypsy has pretty damn good SCV count sitting at 40. That's pretty much all you need, really. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. Those Marines need to get the hell out of Dodge. Gypsy has a lot of mineral income, but he doesn't have his nat gas just yet, so he's going to use those additional minerals to ramp up his barracks count. But I only see 1 starport.
And I'm looking at Messiah's bases here, and he's only taking the gas at that 3rd. Do you think we're going to see some Guardra type build here, or Messiah's just going to try to power up with these muta, keep the Marine count down, and just try to bust Gypsy all at once?
Well, for some reason these days, mass muta is a thing. Actually, now that we see the Hydra Den coming in, I guess it technically could be Guardian Hydra, but I was actually expecting it to just be pure Mutalis. Now, look at this. He was in the sweet spot in between the turrets, pops a couple of additional Marines, and if we look at what Gypsy's army is right now, it's not that strong. So what he really needs to do is just get a solid army up, get all of his tech up and running, and then move out, because despite Zerg having 3 bases, mass muta is not that strong once vessels come out.
Yeah, we see here Messiah showing some good muta micro, man, picking off a couple turrets, really weakening this area up so that he can kind of just fly in and poke this army down. Doing a really good job of keeping Gypsy back here.
Yeah, Gypsy's econ is still crazy, whereas Messiah's econ's still not great. But if we look at the Marine count, look at it. It's sitting at literally just 12. Yes, he has a lot of medics, but he doesn't have a lot of units that actually deal damage to the Mutalists. So the Mutas may be able to continuously just kill these Marines over and over.
Maybe he's going to blind them, man. He's going to blind those Mutalists so they can't. That's it. Blind them down. Won't be able to pop in and out.
That might be the move. He's got so much energy, just blind every single one. We finally got some Lings coming in. Looks like he wants to do a combo attack. This can be annoying if the Lings can pop the turrets. Look at this engagement on the ramp as the units come down 1 or 2 at a time. Mutas just have free pickings. Even killing the depot is great.
He got 2 turrets with the Zergling, so this area is definitely softened up. Gypsy trying to retreat here as Mutas getting caught, and Messiah is just picking apart this army right now.
Yeah, he's really getting punished by not having a bunker in that specific spot. Like, if there was a bunker there, the Lings don't do any damage. He doesn't have to worry about these Mutalists hitting the ramp over and over and over. We actually have some Hydras moving out, probably for Lurkers, and if he runs into this amount of Mutas plus 6 Lurkers or so, this natural might just be breached. He's still not able to get critical mass Marines by now.
Yeah, his army is really weak, man. We see that Messiah transitioning here into Lurker and Defiler already, and Gypsy can really put no pressure on the map, and right there are 6 Lurkers already being morphed. Messiah probably looking to end this, man. If he can get those Lurkers up there, I'm not sure how Gypsy, oh my goodness, way more than 6. 9 lurkers, almost complete, man.
Yeah, Messiah's probably going to end this game because, as I was saying, the Marine count just isn't huge. Also, because he went 2 racks, I don't think these Marines have armor. And now he's going to see the bad news, which is there's a freaking ton of lurkers right here. And if he gets contained, which he is, there's no amount of irradiates he can use. Oh my god, half the army goes bye-bye. But he only has 2 vessels to deal with what's going to be like 15 lurkers.
And I think Messiah is looking to go for it here, Nyoken. We see the engagement, ton of lings, Muta lurkers burrowing. I just don't know if there's enough here for Gypsy to hold, man.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like it, and the fact that he's got a floating factory isn't going to help him. Messiah is mega all in. Like, you see his drone count, it's at 27. He has to win with this. Like, it's not that I don't think he is, because there's so many lurkers here, but he genuinely has to win with this attack because his econ is so shot.
He usually irradiates on the lurkers, Nyoken, but the real issue is coming up in the middle of the map right now. That creepy crawly defiler is going to get up here and be able to start swarming right into Gypsy's nat. And if he can get 2 swarms down, that'll do it, man. There's no way he can hold it with the swarm coming in.
Yeah, and
complete.
Oh, it should be done in like the next 10 seconds or so. And, and he loses a vessel. And he's most likely to come in through the front, obviously, since the lurkers are here. But it's Dark Origin. He could go through the back, but there's the orange cloud, and you have nothing to answer it. He's going to try and run by, but you can't run by the dark cloud, the orange cloud, man.
Not with that many lurkers. I think we see Gypsy here in a really tough spot. No way he can get to this defiler right now. Lurkers burrowing, getting into the nat. They're about to breach, and GG from Gypsy.
Yep, GG comes out. Well done from Messiah right there. The Mutalist, I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, what's your transition? Because every time I see the drone count, it's just super low. Well, it doesn't matter what the transition is when you kill the Marines over and over.
I know. I mean, there's no army, we're good, right? We can just get our lurkers up, get the defiler in there, and we can just press in. But Messiah really prepped well for this match, executed his build, and was able to get game 1 off of Gypsy here.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it was just a tiny mistake. Is if you have a bunker there where the mutas can't get on the ramp, can't go in between both that turret line, then the Marine count will just swell up and be huge. I think Gypsy probably recognizes that going into game 2, that hey, if I close up that hole, if I look at the replay and see my econ relative to this guy, I just have to not die essentially in the mid game, and I'm fine. Like, Messiah was mega all in there, but yeah, it was well done. Gets a win on Dark Origin. It's a great Zerg map. It is going to be Gypsy's pick, though. He has a whole bunch of maps to pick from. Almost every map is good for Terran, so I wonder what he'll pick.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about Gypsy, emotional player, going to have to regroup for this game, right? Leave that one behind and just get focused for this next one. Can't be too upset about the result. Got a lot of games to play here.
Yeah, and like you said, Gypsy is an emotional player, but generally when I see him playing in tournaments, like he's emotional for about 10 seconds and he like gets it together. Whereas on stream, you know, maybe he'll get up and take a break and walk away, but generally I don't think in tournaments it affects him that much. And he's decided that he wants to go into Polypoid, so let's just get straight into game 2. Okay, in the top right or orange Terran, it is Gypsy.
And in the bottom right, in this olive green, it is Messiah.
Now Polypoid, if you guys saw the statistics, this is a good map for Terran. What was it, like 57% win rate versus Zerg? So that's up there in terms of being a great Terran map. Gypsy, he's got top right. This is maybe not exactly the most ideal spawn, but it's fine. And luckily for Messiah, he's going the right direction with his Overlord, so he'll find Gypsy first.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a lot of the same style here from Messiah Nyoken. Is he just going to continue to these types of aggression, as we've seen from a lot of the Chinese players throughout, or will he switch it up a little bit and be a little bit more passive?
Well, based on how last game went, why would I change anything? Like, I racked up so many Marine kills, I would just go for the same type of play. Go the mass mutas, see how it fares. And if we end up losing game 2 because of that, just being so all in, well, maybe game 3 we mix it up. But he did so much devastating damage. I wouldn't, if I was him, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, why change what's working? Just keep pushing on. And we see here again from him, looks like we're going to have just a standard 12 hatch expansion.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is a lot of people that interact or ask me questions, they're like, well, you know, I won game 1. I got to mix it up on game 2. He's going to know it's coming. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, didn't you win game 1? You don't have to do jack squat until they prove to you that they can actually stop it. So hopefully Messiah's thinking along the same lines there. We've got Gypsy coming in with a scout, and he is going to get lucky and find him first. Messiah, pool. Okay, and he's going for the same build. He's going to go gas again at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, we see Gypsy with the semi-wall coming up at his base. Seems to be pretty standard, like we were saying before, from Osterran. He'll probably skip all the Marines again, I would imagine, and just put down the command center to kind of get his eco booming.
Yeah, with this semi-wall, he's going to be able to rush eBay if he wants to. You don't have to build a lot of Marines to stop a mass ling attack when you have this semi-wall like this. We're still not at that moment where he would be getting the gas, but he does have that option. Meanwhile, the scout confirms that this was again another 2-minute gas timing, so Gypsy knows exactly what he's facing.
Yeah, Gypsy probably then, all right, here it is again. Let's maybe he'll mix it up himself. Maybe he will go with the eBay first, get that +1 quickly. Okay,
yep.
This time we do have a variation. We have the gas first for the second barracks.
Yeah, this is eBay. This is the 250 gas is always eBay timing. Anything after that, like 315, 330 gas, that's Academy. So he is going to be rushing his +1, and I think that's a smart move versus someone that built so many Mutalisks versus you last game. You really want to kill the Mutalisk ASAP, and +1 weapon is going to give you that firepower. First couple lings are out, but it's not that many, so the SCV should be able to get good intel onto exactly what's going on. He confirms the lair, which means that it's not speed first. Not that I was expecting that, but he at least confirms that that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, it was good to know that you're not going to have 40 lings come flooding into your natural while you have 3 Marines, and then you're kicking yourself, but Gypsy on top of it. eBay CAD, like you were saying there, Nyoken seems to be pretty standard here from Gypsy as well.
Yeah, so his Academy is also very quick, but what this means is his Marine count is going to be quite low. He's going to have all his upgrades kicking in around the 7-minute mark, which means he's going to have a really strong mid-game. But if Messiah can get something like actually 12 lings with speed and run in, he'll hit before obviously all those power spikes kick in. So actually, Gypsy does need to be a little bit careful, because I see the top side of his wall has nothing there. And we did note that Messiah was building a couple of lings. He only has 6 though.
Yeah, 6 speedlings, nothing too crazy. Seems like he's just gonna go put down this fast 3rd hatchery timing again, Nyoken.
Yep, it's gonna be bottom middle hatchery. And in my experience, versus Zergs that play like this, when they build hatcheries this close, it means they want to fight you. Just like last game where we saw low drone count, mass mutas, this means that most likely Messiah's again going to be on a low drone count. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be pure mutas. He could go fast lurkers if he wants to, but this does signal to me that he's going to try and battle these Marine medics out in the center of the map.
Yeah, it seems to be his preferred style anyway, right? We saw him engage the army a lot, really be aggressive with the muta, find those little spots that he can kind of abuse. So it seems like that's going to be his comfort zone, what he wants to do. And like you said, why leave your comfort zone? You might as well continue doing what works. Gypsy's getting that, checking the drone count, +1 attack, going in again here for Messiah.
Yep, bunker coming down. That's a good bunker. That's going to save his depots. There's not going to be the opportunity for the mutas to abuse the ramp anymore. So already Gypsy plugging that hole that was open in game 1. We've got range coming in. It's just started, but again, like I said, this is quick range. Even though he has few units, he's really playing for the power spike at 7 minutes, and that's when range and +1 will all complete.
I didn't see any turrets started in main by the command center.
I think there's one.
One, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful up there, right? Like, we don't have a big Marine count here. But right now the muta count only at 4, and it will quickly rise. I'd like to see him maybe throw another one down there below the mineral so we don't get into a crazy spot where Messiah can go from above the cliff with the natural back to the main.
Yep, so we do have the third turret coming down, may even build a fourth turret. Right now, Gypsy doesn't have a lot of turrets in the main because he's just going to mostly defend with Marines. And we do have the third gas up and running again. And again, drone count extremely low for Messiah. He is going to jump in the main, and there's not that good of an angle for him to attack. He may have gotten a decent amount of SCVs, but he took a lot of damage, and now these Mutalisks are stuck. Well, he's going to run by the turrets, but he took a lot of damage there.
Yeah, Gypsy should be feeling good about that. Lost a couple SCVs, but damage those. He should be able to fight and be able to get a better fight in the middle of the map compared to last match where he lost a lot of that army.
Well, there's the power spike that I was talking about. +1 is done. Range is done. Stim is done. Marine count did not get whittled down at all. So if Gypsy wants to go out on the map, this is the time to go. Gypsy's SCV count is not nearly as high as it was last game. Like around this time we were sitting around 35 to 40. We're just at 29. So actually the Mutas did more damage than I thought. And we can actually see that it's a decent supply of lead right now. It's almost 10 for Dirk.
Ooh, good pick there from Gypsy as he pushes onto the high ground, looking like he wants to get really aggressive. Good micro from Messiah, but Gypsy whittling down the Muta count a little bit.
Yeah, but this is getting dangerous. The Muta count is still at 11, whereas the Bio Ball, the amount of Marines there is not that many. It's, what, 12 now? I think the Mutalisks can actually win this fight. The medics have been, or the Marines have been stimming quite a bit. The medics may be out of energy, and you can actually see Gypsy's going to try and run. Now he's obligated to fight because he's gotten cornered in. The Mutalisks are barely going to hold, but he did lose quite a... I was going to say he lost a lot of them, but actually with reinforcing Mutas, he still has 9 left over.
Well, surprise, Nyoken. You thought they were dead. Here's 10 more. They're just flying in, man.
Well, this is a really good spot for Messiah. He eliminated the big mid-game threat that Gypsy was going for. Gypsy's still crushing his build because his starports are coming online. We don't know what Messiah's follow-up is. I don't see any big buildings that actually signal to me that this is Hive. So actually Messiah could still be stuck on Lair Tech. Oh, he is.
He is on Lair Tech. We have Paździor Deck coming up now. I guess we're just going to go Muta Lurker. No Hive this time.
Yeah, this does look like it's going to be Math Muta Lurker with no Hive. And, you know, if Gypsy doesn't scan this and he thinks that it's just going to be a Defiler timing and all of a sudden 10 Lurkers show up on his doorstep with all these Mutalisks left over, he's going to have a really tough time holding this off, especially with a floated factory. And actually, Messiah's building a lot of links. If he eliminates this army again, I don't think Gypsy can recover from losing 2 armies.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he gets stuck in his base again, Nyoken, like last game when we're saying here we're just going to be a ton of Lurkers, I don't see how he can hold again. And you see Messiah just whittling down this Bio Ball again, man. Doing a really good job of keeping the numbers low.
Yeah, those Mutalisks are heavily damaged, but he's managed to keep so many of them alive. And again, he's going to come in and pick off some more Marines. Again, the SCV count is good now for Gypsy. He's got big econ, but the problem is I see those slow units moving across the map. You know those are Hydras, and as long as it's more than something like 2 Hydras, where he can get 6, 7 Lurkers up, this 4-Rax is not going to be able to deal with this amount of Lings and this amount of Lurkers.
So, do you think the fact that he sees the factory floating, that's been triggering his build? Because both games he's seen the factory floating with the Mutalisk.
Well, I think this particular game he had already made up his mind because he didn't even have a Queen's Nest at all. But based on the first game where he saw there was a floated factory, he made the intelligent decision that it's probably going to be floated again. Look at these Marines. Half of the army's already dead. Lurkers are now here, and this game is on the brink of being over. He may just win with Lings.
Yeah, I don't see how Gypsy's going to hold with just 1 bunker, 5 Marines, 3 medics. Messiah looking like he's about to make his final push with the Lurkers to end this match. Being annoying here, man. Just trying to pull Marines. 1 Marine comes out, another Marine gets picked. Factory taking damage, vessels are out, but no energy. More of the Bio going down here on the ramp.
Yeah, he never rebuilt the turrets, so the Mutas just reign supreme. I mean, he doesn't even need the Lurkers. Like, he's winning with just Mutalisks.
Gypsy apart here. It's unfortunate, man. Look at him just kind of microing for fun, man. And you think he knows that he's about to do it here. Oh my goodness.
Well, Gypsy is probably confused because there's no all-in that's hit him yet. He just lost on the muse. May feel like he's done it, but now he scans and he is mega dead. There's more lurkers than there are Marines here. He needed like triple bunker, but even that I'm not sure would have saved him. He's going to evacuate his natural. If he scanned the main, he may think like, okay, if I hold here, I might be able to actually salvage the game because I still don't think there's hive. But there's no bunker on the high ground either. Eventually these lurkers will just push through.
The CC just floated, man. Gypsy trying to micro, but there is just so much Zerg, man, pushing into the main base. There's the GG. Messiah takes it 2-0.
Damn, crushing it. Those mutas are crazy strong, dude. Like, I'm looking at the drones again. They're super low, but if you kill everything, it doesn't matter what your econ is, because you're just eventually going to win the game. But the 27 drone man in back-to-back games, he just takes the series. And Gypsy's somebody that you think round of 8 at least, and he's already in the losers bracket, just like yesterday with OG being in the losers bracket so quickly.
Yeah, Messiah really showing his power, man. His Muta Micro just executing his build order to whatever Gypsy was doing. He was like, guys, this is what I'm going for. This is how I'm going to get it. 27 drones seems to be the magic number when we cast some ASL games. I feel like that was the same amount that we saw a lot of the Korean Zergs using. It seems to be that's all you need to win ZVT is 27 drones.
Yeah, and in ASL, a lot of Zergs are doing exactly what we're seeing, which is the mass Muta style for whatever reason. I remember Queen pulling it out this season. I think it was Jadon pulled it out this season. Both of the games happen to be on Apocalypse, the ones that I remember, but it's a common strategy these days, and Messiah made it look broken. So we're going to be going into a break, and then we'll be back with our next series, which is going to be a TVP, BoA versus XuanXuan. And we are back. We already saw Messiah move into the winner's match over Gypsy. Now we're getting into a TVP, which is going to be a really tough matchup, I think, for XuanXuan here, because BoA, he's an expert versus Terran, man. He knows how to hit those timings. XuanXuan's very strong, and in fact, if we look at his win rate versus Protoss, it says 100%. But XuanXuan's only played in a couple BSLs, whereas BoA, he's been in a lot of them, and he's got a 70% win rate versus Terran. He is really damn good in this matchup.
Yeah, he's crazy strong, man. PBT definitely, I think, his strongest matchup. Super aggressive player all the time. Loves to get after Terran. As you know, that 11-minute bust timing, fantastic. I think what helps too, Neo Dark Origin allows him to be aggressive as well. He'll be able to get that gas steal if he'd like, early zealot pressure, and really try to force XuanXuan to play out of it. But Nyoken, you never know. XuanXuan, he could build 2 barracks and then a supply depot and just go for it, man.
It is Dark Origin as the first map. There's a lot of proxy areas you could go for. See if XuanXuan wants to pull it out as we get into game 1. Okay, in the top left are Chinese Terran. It is XuanXuan.
And in the bottom right, it is BoA.
Yeah, so despite BoA being so
you
good...
You see it, Nyoken?
Oh, what happened? Oh!
Oh, baby!
Oh, this is so fast. This could be in-base gateways. BoA mixing it up. I've played BoA a decent amount of the time, not hundreds of games, but maybe like 20 to 30 games. I don't remember him proxying ever. So this is going to be a very aggressive opener from him, and he's right next to the base.
7-7 it looks like, Nyoken. I don't think we're going to make, we're not going to make any more probes. We're going to go 7-7 gateway here. The real trick here will be if XuanXuan recognizes it quickly, or if he panics and takes his gas. Sometimes Terran will take their gas rather than the barracks down so they don't get the gas steal, and with 7-7, you're just dead. Oh, he made one great. I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned yesterday, even if Terran scouts this, the gateway is far enough where pulling the SCVs, I don't think is going to be in time to actually take down the gateway. Now, I will say this. That is an interesting racks placement, and in fact, I think because of this racks placement, XuanXuan may have already saved himself. I'm trying to think back to his games in earlier BSLs. I remember him building his barracks right next to his minerals when he was playing versus Zerg. So he is the king of SimCity that I've seen so far. Now, Razz, you saw that gas timing, right? 142 gas timing. That's not a gas steal timing. Alarm bell should be going off in Terran's head right now that there has to be proxy gates.
I was just going to say, I'm really surprised we didn't even able to get it there, Nyoken. I mean, 140 is very, very late. So let's see if he just decides to throw down a second barracks, or is he just going to put a bunker down? Let's see what XuanXuan here has his answer to BoA's proxy gate.
Yeah, I think actually XuanXuan's just going to shut this down. And okay, he's actually building a bunker. I don't know about that. Like, I've heard that you need the bunker to defend this, but his SimCity is so good, I don't think he does. But I guess because he got gas stolen, right? He doesn't want to, mess up his marine control. Because if he just moves marines next to the assimilator, they're going to attack the assimilator, right? Whereas the bunker will continuously focus the zealot.
Oh, and he's going to show him the second barracks. And yeah. I noticed in BoA's baseband, he is going to go for a goon here. He took the gas, going to press hard, but he's still going to put a core down. I mean, this is going to get tricky here because BoA's done no damage. He's cut a lot of probes. He's down 3 workers already to just try to be able to push out. But if XuanXuan just gets big enough marine count, he takes an expansion, BoA may be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he might be. The gateway is definitely going to die. I think this is the correct response after getting gas stolen. You've got to go second racks here so that you can move out, because just non-stop zealots out of one gate will stop one racks. He finally gets some damage there, taking down 2 SCVs, and now actually the worker count is evened up. And what was a good SimCity, good follow-up from... all of a sudden this is falling apart, because obviously Terran does not want to have a lot of marines versus just, a normal mid-game from Protoss.
Yeah, this is struggling there. I thought he would have killed that gas off already and tried to take it, but now we see 3 Zealots. We're probably going to see a Dragoon here shortly. We have 3 SCVs out here on the map killing the pylon, Nyoken.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough, though.
Oh, well, here comes 4 and 5.
Yeah, but there's a Zealot there, dude. Look at me just pop. That one's gone. That one's gone. The Goon might actually get out in time. Wow, this is so close. The Goon is going to be so close also. Oh, wow, he gets it. But look how many SCVs he lost for that. Even if he kills the gate now, BoA can rebuild the gate in his main. What's he going to be worried about? Marines that have no stim, no medic, and you have high ground? I don't think Protoss really cares about losing this gateway.
Yeah, we have double gate in the main with range on the way here. Now, I think if XuanXuan knew that these gateways were not done, Nyoken, we could probably pull the boys and win.
Yeah, if he had vision, for sure,
Yeah.
I think that could be a game-winning move. But as time goes on, and with there being no vision of it, XuanXuan's going to lose that window of opportunity. He doesn't even have an overwhelming amount of Marines. What is this, 9? I mean, that's decent, but...
We're bleeding some off here. BoA picking
Oh,
off
he
a couple
is?
of these.
He's pulling it, but it's too late now. He needed this, like, right when you said it 20 seconds ago. Now, there could be battery up. There's going to be goons on the ramp. He can pull probes.
Yeah, I
Double
think
battery.
this is just a little bit too late here. I just don't see how, because range is also almost complete. So I don't see how XuanXuan can get up this ramp and get a kill here. I mean, we're all in, so we might as well pull all the boys.
Well, he did get vision to drill on something, so he is going to get into the main with the SCVs, but there's batteries now, there's probes. Well, this is still going to be rough because Marines got a lot of DPS. Oh, SCVs are body blocking very well. The pylon is actually kind of annoying to deal with. Probes now doing real work on the SCVs. But the bunker might actually get up. However, you pointed out that goons already have range.
Yeah, we have range and 2 shield batteries. We're down to 11 workers.
Nothing got in.
Into the bunker. I think this may have been a failed rush, and there's the GG, Nyoken.
It was a good idea. Like you said, it just needed to be the 10 seconds faster. Then the second and third goon don't get out. The second battery doesn't complete. But he had nothing to drill on. So, I don't know. XuanXuan had good response, but BoA's able to sneak away with that win.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they decided at that moment was going to be the time to go, considering how far along those gateways were. But hey, he went for it. He pulled all the boys. You know, if you're going to go for it, you take everyone. And you try to make it happen. But unfortunately, BoA with a really good response and timings were fine, and he's going to be able to hold it on. So, all right, Nyoken, you're Terran. What would you pick? TVP from the map pool.
Polyporter circuit breakers, man.
Polyporter circuit breakers.
They're so good. Those maps are so good. So good. But, I don't know. XuanXuan wasn't aggressive in the past. He could pull out something like Invader. I don't know if he would want to play that versus Protoss, but those would be my picks. And there it is, man. Circuit breakers. This map is just so good for Terran. No shocker. So let's get into game 2. Find out if BoA will close it out. Okay, in the top left, up 1-0 in the series, it is BoA.
And in the top right, needs to find a win on circuit breakers. It's XuanXuan.
Yeah.
All right. Middle is buildable.
Buildable.
Buildable. We could do it.
It could happen. I don't think BoA is going to go for it again. But that man right there, he could go for it. There he goes. He's saying, you know what? You think that you're the only race that can proxy? Ha! I'll show you who can proxy too, man. There goes that SCV. It is not going to be an 8-Rax. It is going to be BBS.
Wow, man. Here he goes. He is ready. He said, no problem. You want to try this? I'll one-up you. You want to make 1 gateway? I'll make 2 barracks. And here comes the other SCV, Nyoken.
It would make my day if this is a forge opener and he cannons his ramp. Not that would ever happen, but I would fall out of my chair if he actually does that. because that would just be the instant counter to the BBS. Instead, we just have normal gateway. I guess we gotta get a check on when he scouts, because Protoss players have been mixing in different scout timings. Some players scout on pylon, some players scout after the gate, some players don't even scout until they have their goon, and in this game he needs to scout.
Yeah, if he doesn't go for a cross scout to check that middle and he just goes into the core, he's dead. So he really needs to send something out.
Yeah, he desperately needs to get out onto the map. I wonder if BoA remembers that XuanXuan was pulling this stuff out versus, I think it was Mihu on Vermeer a couple seasons ago. Like, he was pulling out BBS at a relatively high a rate. Like, it wasn't, 1 out of 100 games. It was something like 20 out of 100 or 25. Like, it was a pretty high rate. Now, as you mentioned, Circuit Breaker is buildable in the middle, but this has been out of the map pool for a long time. Is he going to go to the center? And the answer is no. Oh, but he saw the SCV. Weird direction. He spots it.
Yep.
We just need a battery now, and this game's probably donezo.
Zealot battery, we're good. We canceled the core so we could get the Zealot out and the battery. Probably should stay out. He's going to pull off gas. Doesn't need it. Just going to make Zealots. This should hold, man. As long as the Zealot gets out.
Well, this is still not... Okay, and XuanXuan's doing exactly what I was about to say, which is he's pulling the boys. When you don't have to worry about cybernetics and Dragoons coming out, you can actually deal with Zealot plus Probe when they have just the battery, because you've got the ranged Marines and you've got those bodybuilders in the front, the SCV. BoA's lost already a lot, and he's losing a lot of energy on his shield battery. In fact, his shield battery is almost already out of energy. Ooh, that's a good engagement right there, but the Marine count is high, and the bunker is right there. I think actually XuanXuan's done it.
Oh, we got a forge.
Yeah, he needs that cannon ASAP, but I think it's too late.
I don't know, man. We don't have a lot of SCVs. We need to kill that cannon and cancel it out. If we don't cancel out that cannon, I think we're gonna die. I don't even know if he notices the cannon behind. He may think it's a shield battery or something.
Yeah, he very might. He very well might suspect that, but we know. Okay, I think BoA's held it now. He's bought enough time for the cannon, and the cannon is insanely strong versus Marines. And with that cannon completing and with nothing to shield the Marines, this game is donezo.
I don't know, Nyoken. 5 SCVs could be playable.
Could be playable as the cannon just, obliterates 3 Marines immediately. There it is, GG.
The GG. So, XuanXuan taking both games by pulling the boys, man. He's like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to pull the SCVs, go up the ramp. But BoA slapped that down and said, no, get out of here.
Yeah, not today, sir. I like the idea. I think the BBS was a good move, even though it ended up losing that game. If the SCV doesn't come from the middle right when the probe is there, I think BoA doesn't scout it. So that's a bit unlucky. But, it is what it is. Sometimes luck's on your side, and BoA now, he's going to be facing off versus Messiah in the winners match.
Yeah, it should be a really, really good match. BoA, obviously strong in all matchups. PBZ, very, very good. Sometimes gets a little overzealous with his Dragoon and Zealot armies, tries to move out because he is aggressive. I think if he can kind of cap some of that, I think we'll see some really strong games between him and Messiah here.
Yep, so we'll be going into a break, and we'll be back with that matchup in just a couple minutes.
for 11 months.
All right, we are back, and we're getting into our winners match already. Stream just turned on, yet here we are. And we've got a PVZ, BoA versus Messiah. And I'm looking forward to this, not just because it's a different matchup being PVZ, but also clan tags, I noticed, are the same. It was, I think, didn't we see CWT Messiah? And I saw BoA's also repping the CWT tag. So you would hope that they should have a lot of experience versus each other, which means we could see some epic gains, we could see some mind games from both sides.
Yeah, always a different kind of setup when you have people that play together a lot, right? Who know what the other guy's going to do, so you kind of change it up all of a sudden or get something crazy. It definitely adds an element to it.
And you know what else, Razz? In PVZ, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes you also don't need more than 27 drones to win the game. Did you know that?
Oh, I know that. I know it very well. I'll tell you, it happens to me all the time on the ladder. You get a Korean guy who doesn't want to play because the turn rate's turn rate 10. Boom, 973 expected mass Hydra coming through.
Yeah, we may have a different unit comp this time. Maybe not Mutaling winning the game, but the H button could be getting worn out in this particular matchup.
Hopefully he hasn't changed out one so he can, do it for the next couple of games.
Yeah. So our map is going to be Apocalypse. This is a kind of a remake of Ascension. I remember Protoss actually being quite strong on this map. Let's see if BoA can do it or if Messiah will strike in game one. Okay, in the top middle are red Protoss. It is BoA.
And in the bottom right, it is Messiah.
So, you're the Protoss expert here. What do you think about Apocalypse?
I think it's a good map because you can get to your third gas pretty easily. I think it gets tricky with the middle high grounds above all of your bases. You do see a lot of pro gamers go with like a 973 or 5 hatch and a lurker contain, because if you can set up on the high ground, they have to come up ramps into the contains. So can be tricky. Also, 3-base Zerg with drops, like almost like all-in type play, is also very strong because it's very awkward to move your army from the naturals back into the main. So if they can draw you out to the high ground then drop, it's a long way back. So definitely some tricky stuff there. But on the other side of that coin, if you're able to get your goons and zealots up on these high grounds and be able to push down, you're pushing into Zerg bases that are on low ground, so can help you as well.
Yeah, Lurker Contain sounds pretty toxic on this map. Also, with the map being like Tau Cross levels of drop potential, I can also see that being a nightmare to play against somebody like Shine, for example, who has all the bag of builds planned. We've actually got what seems to be a 12 Nexus from BoA, so both players going for big econ here because it's going to be a 12 hatch.
Yeah, 12 Nex, 12 Nexus, 12 Forge, that'll be perfectly fine, knowing that there is no spawning pool down just yet, so he'll be okay. Now the question is, how greedy does BoA want to get before he puts down his first cannon? Will he put a gateway? Will he put a simulator? Like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he may even go gate first. This pool was very late. Is it gonna be gate? Looks like Probe. Probe wants that money, man.
He needs to make it. You know, he's a worker. He's got to do what he's got to do.
I think it's gonna be. Oh, it is a forge. Okay. Now, something that I've noticed on Apocalypse, it's got that sylphid map terrain at the natural where you've got that small gap on the side, so you got to be careful. You ever move out of position with your zealot? Ling run by is definitely a big threat.
Yep, 2 gap there on the right and 1 gap in between the gateway and the forge. Have to be careful. Need to check it out. And we see that. I think BoA is going to greed here and go with a gas as well first.
Yeah, 2 gappers pretty ugly in this matchup. The only 2 gappers I like was when I'm playing some poker, you know, especially when they're suited.
Ooh. Whoa, Mihu can get wild out there with those 2 gappers.
Well, there's the cannon follow-up. We've got the 3rd hatch coming down. I didn't exactly catch the gas timing from Messiah, but it looked like it was something like 2:30-ish. That's kind of quick, actually. We'll see. Is there Hydroden? No, probably just gonna be Lair.
It's most likely gonna be Lair.
Oh,
he made it at his 3rd.
Yeah, he must have gotten it at his 3rd because it's not morphing at his main. I think that's a smart move to do that, because now Protoss has to kind of figure out, okay, well, did you upgrade speed? Is this Lair? What is this?
Yeah, this seems to be a pretty standard style for Zerg right now, so they can get their Spire up in time to deal with the air. Oh no, that's tragic, Nyoken. The worst type of PvZ is the blind PvZ. When you have no idea what's going on in the Zerg base, it's trouble. And he didn't scout the lair, so now he has to start making assumptions. Oh, he is sending his out to get information, but some Zerg are crazy, man. They kill that probe, they cancel that lair, and they drop 2 Hydra Den and go double den and just come all of a sudden bust you with mass Hydra that have both upgrades.
That would be me, man. That'd be me. It's like, you lost your probe, you're getting punished immediately. Zealot is going to confirm the lair, though, so he will know that at least he hasn't been mind gamed just yet. There still could be a Hydra Den in the main for like some type of weird lurker play. But there's no defense up here. Okay, there we go. A couple more lings pop out. But he does shut down the mineral line, so this is already a good win for BoA.
Yeah, definitely good here. Ooh, got that ling. That was nice. 1 Zealot for a ling. Not the greatest trade, but he is able to, like you said, pull those drones away. I think the biggest part of that Zealot is you confirm that there's a lair, right? Like that, to me, is like, all right, there's not going to be 12 Hydra all of a sudden running across the map here and going to kill me.
Yeah, actually, those lings did a really good job to clean up the Zealot, and Protoss is going to move out again, but it's only 2 Zealots. There's speedlings here, and I think this is a big mistake. Messiah, he may just instantly... Look at that full surround. Goodbye. These Zealots are going to do no damage. 1 ling for 2 Zealots. Okay, 2 lings for 2 Zealots. It couldn't have gone better.
Yeah, and if he really wants to, Nyoken, he can run by. And he
Here
is going to run by. Oh, no, now we got speedlings in the main. 3 is a devastating number. Immediate cannon goes down there for BoA.
Yeah.
Oh, caught that 1 ling.
Okay.
Really good from him.
Yeah, good catch. You know, even though, of course, BoA doesn't want to build this cannon right now, it's going to help him not just versus the lings, but also versus the incoming fire play. Sayer isn't... Okay, it's just now out, and it will, I think, be able to get across the map and confirm what's coming, which we know is just going to be normal mutas.
Yeah, it seems to be very standard play here from his side. Nothing too crazy. I mean, he could be Mutaman. We could see... He doesn't have his 3rd gas, so it's probably not going to happen, but we could see the 3 base mass Muta Scourge play, but I doubt it now that he never actually took that 3rd gas. So these lings just getting so much information, though. Really a pain here when you can't catch them ever.
Well, Zerg is in a crazy good spot. Worker count is pretty damn close. He's got 5 hatches coming. This is pretty much as good as it gets as Zerg, especially when you face the Protoss that went 12 Nexus. Like, this is amazing for him. I didn't catch a Hydrogen anywhere. I didn't catch Evolution Chamber anywhere. But we did get to see that +1 armor is coming on the Mutalisk.
Yeah, we see +1 here from BoA, but we already know that Messiah already is getting that armor, so gonna negate that. But looks like a strong timing here from BoA. Probably go with a 3 Sayer, bunch of speed zealot here around the 715 mark, and get himself moving out to put some pressure on so that Zerg can't just drone freely.
Yeah, but he's lacking those 2 or 3 zealots that he lost in the early game. So how strong is 6 zealots really going to be?
No.
Oh, the Sayer even dies. So he doesn't even confirm whether this is going to be Mutalisk or what the follow-up is going to be. There's the Hydrogen coming down. Good SimCity there. Third base already has a good SimCity, and it's 6 hatch production.
Yeah, losing that Sayer is very painful because we need to get to that really great number of like 6, 7, and before we can start doing any kind of damage. That is going to kind of be stuck. These Zealots go into this third base, but like you said, Nyoken, the SimCity is really good, and there's going to probably be a minimum of 5 Muta that come out here. So I'm not sure what these Zealots are going to get done, and if you just lose these for free, you really have a hard time pressing here as Protoss into the Zerg.
Look at that drill.
Really
He's got to manually target these drones, and he hasn't done that. He's going to get the Sunken, but he's going to trade 6 Zealots for this? Yeah, that doesn't seem worth.
1 drone and the Sunken for the 6 Zealot. Definitely trouble now, because I would imagine that Messiah is going to drone directly to 50+ drones and start macroing Hydra after that.
Yeah, and I've seen what he can do with 27 drones. Now he's got double the amount of drones. He's just going to have so many units now. And BoA now has to respect that there could be mutas. Like, he saw gas at the third base. He may be thinking like, oh, am I getting mass muted? Look at that. He even built an Archon.
Yeah, we built an Archon here, and we're making more Sayer already at 5. Our gateway count going up here a little bit slow, but we're going to get up to 8 gateways. I mean, I think that Messiah here is taking the lead. He only made the 5 Muta, and like I said, now we can right to 50 drones. He's at 50 drones, and he is now just going to press that H key like you said.
Yeah, I feel like the only way that BoA comes back into this game... Oh no, he loses a Templar. Well, this is not how you get back in the game. He loses both of the Templars. I feel like OK and Scourge connect also, so already Messiah doing heavy damage to the tech units. I was going to say, I think the only way actually BoA gets back in this game is if actually Messiah gets supply blocked and just doesn't build units. Other than that, I feel like Messiah's just going to be ahead in supply probably for the rest of the game.
Most likely. We have a lot of people on Scourge. Oh my goodness.
My.
Catching those Sayer out, and now they're getting chased down, and all the Sayer dead. I don't know, man. This just may be too much damage here from Messiah. I mean, we lost 7 Sayer, 2. Oh well, we're giving some Muta back for free because we feel bad for how much we killed. That's nice of him. But he lost 2 Templar, 7 Sayer, and without the Sayer, he could just make another 5, 6 Mutalisk and just start popping Templar again. Really commanding position here from Messiah.
Yeah, getting rid of those mutas, though, does give a little bit of life to BoA. If he didn't kill those mutas, I just feel like there would have been no hope. It would have been massive supply lead, tech advantage, obviously. There would have been no Storm for a while. We've actually have Dark Archon coming in to try and deal with some of the Mutalisks, because he lost all his Corsairs, remember? Like, it would take him forever to rebuild 5 or 6 there. So I think the Dark Archon follow-up is not a bad idea. Also, even if he doesn't go Mutas, of course, Maelstrom's going to be good versus Hydralisk.
Yeah, Dark Archon Maelstrom, extremely, extremely strong. And the fact that he actually made more Muta will help BoA in this next engagement. He's going to need it. But we cannot lose all of these Zealots here, Nyoken. We need to run home.
Yeah, I don't know what this move was supposed to do, because he just got caught. He's going to not lose that many Zealots, but he's going to take a lot of shield damage, and... You know, Messiah's taking a 4th base behind this. He's got bottom right up and coming up pretty soon. Look at his upgrades. 1-0 already. He'll have +2 pretty soon. Protoss no slouch either. He's already got 1-1 on his upgrades.
Yeah, we're probably going to see Lurkers here soon. I only see 2 High Templar, though. Nyoken. That is not enough to fight the 6 hatch production, even with 2 storms each. And the Muta going in, Muta diving onto these Templar, kills 1, kills 2. Dark Archon doesn't have enough energy yet. Okay, finally he gets the Maelstrom, so he'll be able to save it. He's got to get the Archon over there to get the splash. But Nyoken, the Templar are dead again.
Yeah, there's no Storm, no Maelstrom. You can't even get through this. The Zealots are just going to get funneled up like that. Archon, he's going to come in and try and help out. But the Goons aren't even really doing much damage either. Look how fast the Zealots die.
We may just see BoA here get busted by Messiah. It seems like Goon range has just kicked in here for BoA as well. But there's no AoE. How do we fight?
You don't fight. I think what you do is you say GG because there's just so many blue units coming across the map. Sitting in an arc. It's such a strong strategy.
Unbelievable. And every trade here now for Messiah is just fantastic. BoA on a timer, about to get to that 13-minute mark where it's crucial that you have a third base. He only has 2 Templar and like 8 Dragoons. Definitely some serious damage again from Messiah.
Well, losing those Mutalisks is expensive, right? Like, he's lost... That's a good storm. He's lost like 1,800 minerals and gas in those Mutalisks. Like, he lost quite a lot, so BoA's not out of it just yet. But whenever I see supplies this close, at this stage in the game, I always get very worried for Protoss. And the just non-stop rallied Hydras across the map is going to be so hard to attack into as Protoss, especially uphill. We also see Messiah putting down an 8th tree at bottom right. All he really needs to do is drone cycle a little bit, get that up and running, and he's just going to have so much production.
Yeah, BoA really, I think, needs to take a backseat here and just hold a third base and try to get to a 4th. If he goes onto the map with this army, I think that'll be all she wrote, because Messiah is just macroing like crazy. We haven't seen any lurkers yet. You know he's been Hydra Man. Can you sit back, get some good engagements, allow him to attack into you, and get yourself back in this game?
Well, you can tell that BoA is desperate because he's about to be mined out in his main and natural, and he's on 10 gate. He needs as many units as he can possibly get, and we've got 60 drones now for Messiah, so he's really killing it right now. I guess one of the saving graces for Protoss is if he can hold these incoming attacks and Zerg doesn't go into Hive, you know, maybe he can stall the game out, get his 4th base, and then try and go into a split map. But if Zerg gets all this Econ plus Hive, okay, those were hold position, by the way. That could have been a disaster for Protoss.
Sniped the Dark Archon.
Yep, he gets the Observer too, and look how many Hydras there are. There's just so many.
I don't even know how BoA can fight here. He has no Observer. He's running into these. Oh, good storm there on both Lurkers and some Hydra. He needs to sit on this high ground and just turtle, man. Hang out for a little bit. My goodness. 61 drones, 4 bases. Messiah's eco is exploding, man.
Yeah, it is still going to be hard to attack into high ground as Zerg. Yes, he's got some Lurkers, but he doesn't have that many. Oh, okay, that's a big power spike. +2 is about to kick in. There it is. And now with all of his bases up and running, he can legitimately just build Hydras out of every single hatchery. Here we go. This may be the game-ending attack. There's not a lot of Storm, but that's an amazing one. Hits a lot of the Hydras, but there's no follow-up. Goon's Zealot is strong, but you need some Storm with it.
I think we're about to get run over here. We're pushing through. We made an Archon. A couple more Templar coming up from the back here. Will they be in time? They don't. Oh, there's a good storm. Templars are picked. Hydra running over. Oh no, I think Messiah has done it here. And you're going to see a couple more blue streams just coming across the map here. I think Nyoken 8 hatchery Hydra, just too much.
Yeah, this is just going to be too much to handle. I mean, the storms are fantastic. The problem is there's just like 1 or 2, and that's it. There's no actual critical mass storms. And once this base falls, BoA's pretty much mined out. Like, he's not going to be mining essentially at all. Whereas Zerg, we know he's still got 4 bases up and running, sitting pretty. Messiah's even floating 2K.
Yeah, losing this third base, I think BoA's just kind of thinking about what happened here and what he needs to do, because I think he knows that without, oh, he puts the Nexus right back down. That's going to get immediately canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, Messiah just in a commanding position. If he really wanted to be crazy, he could just make 6-7 more Mutalisk again, just fly in and kill the Templar again.
Okay, I thought actually that big blob was setting up for like a drop, but nope, that's just Hydras coming in for round 2. And again, lack of Templars. Those Zealots are heavily damaged already. And also Hydras coming in through high ground now.
Yeah, here we go with a lot more Hydra. Good storm again from BoA. Nailing these storms, man. When he's had the storms, they have been fantastic.
Yeah. Messiah taking another base at the same time. Devastating damage, really. You, as a Protoss fan, you would just think like, man, I wish Protoss just had a little bit more, because he's just not able to have enough to push it back.
Yeah, he just not enough AoE to deal with this army, and you know, we're trading 75 mineral, 25 gas for Archons and Dragoons, so the Zerg is just feeling really good. I mean, we're at a 40 supply lead here in Nyoken.
Yep, and it's just going to get worse. We've got even armor upgrades coming in. Again, there's still lack of hive. So, like I was saying, if there was some type of miracle defense, you know, this could have backfired where Zerg is just stuck on lair tech. He would be down in upgrades at some point, but critical mass has been reached. It's really just, we're just waiting for the killing blow, really, because this army is pitiful from Protoss. There's no way he can hold, you know, attack 3, 4, 5. Eventually, he's just going to run out of steam.
Yeah, I mean, just even trading armies at this point, right? I mean, it's always good for Zerg, but now at this point, he can trade super ineffectively, and he's gonna come out on top because he has so many bases, so much money. 60 drones, 5 bases. You see the amount of blue just streaming across the map. We got a DT, baby.
A DT and a dream. He needs to go to bottom right and get all of those drones. He's gonna sneak by, but I don't even think one DT that gets 25 drone kills will make a difference.
Goodness,
that's 10 Hydra
Templar,
kills.
Man.
Yeah.
Both Templar down. Oh,
Well,
that
the DT
could be hero.
Gets spotted though.
Oh,
There's no defense.
won't be
Can
alerted.
he do it?
Oh,
Yeah, no alert. Here we go.
he can hold this attack and kill all the drones now.
Yeah, every single drone.
Maybe all 52 that are left.
Man, all of the probes are over there too. So he's about to lose all of his probes.
Oh, we know what to do. There it is. We had it for a second. Oh,
We're still a believer in the
didn't
DT. We still believe.
If we kill all 48 of the drones left and kill these units, maybe.
The storms are crazy. They're legitimately crazy. He just doesn't have anything other than that. There it is, GG. And Messiah, he's saying to me now, Nyoken, you thought I could just all in? Look at macro. I got the beast macro too. And now BoA, man, he's gonna have to come up with something different this time, because nothing worked out well for him other than the storms.
Yeah, I mean, I think BoA was a little bit sloppy with the units at the beginning. I think that was the biggest part of the game here. Like, BoA is really strong, but when you start gifting away 6 Zealot, 5 Sair, like, you're putting yourself in a deficit, even that he can maybe not overcome. I mean, it's very, very hard. So he really needs to just maybe tighten up that early game, and I think he could be the winner here in 2-1 and come back.
Sure. I forgot about the 6 Zealots. Remember, the Sunken killed 6 Zealots pretty much at top right, and he killed, what, 1 drone? I mean, that's an expensive commitment, especially when somebody has already 6 hatches and you lose your timing. If it was me, I'd be spamming that D button, get me 15 more drones immediately.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We saw that, 50, 60 drones, man, with 6, 7, 8 hatches. Just the amount of Hydra and units they can produce is wild, so... Well, BoA falls down a game here, but can pull it back. Wonder what map he will pick. And we will see as we are ready for game number 2.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good map picks for Protoss. Invader is
Invader's
maybe
strong.
Yeah, you like Invader for PvZ? A lot of times I see, or at least I've heard, that actually Zerg's like this map.
I don't mind it. Oh, it is actually going to be Invader. The problem is with it is that you have to play a Forge here. You can't play a Gateway Open because of the double ramp, right? So you got to play Forge. So I know that's not what BoA always wants. I mean, we saw him take a Forge, expand that game. But for BoA, with this map pool, I think Invader's not a bad choice because he likes to be aggressive, and he can take aggressive positions on different high grounds and hold them, and really force Zerg to kind of come into these tough areas. Polypoid, Dark Origin are much more camper maps, I feel like. So you can sit there on Polypoid on the high ground, Dark Origin can sit above the bridges as Zerg, and that makes it a little bit harder for the Protoss to play. So I think Invader's not a bad choice for him here.
Okay, well, let's get into game 2. Messiah 1 game away from getting out in first place. Okay, in the top left, looking as deadly as ever, it is Messiah.
And in the bottom right, our red Protoss, it is BoA. Now,
right,
will we stay at 9 full speed? That's what I'm gonna say. Will Messiah just go for it, man, and go 9 full speed and just try to run through?
Got that double entrance. Wouldn't surprise me, but if that doesn't work, aren't you just immediately just dead? Like, it feels like that's like a Hail Mary. And based on how well he's been playing today, I don't feel like if I was him, I wouldn't feel like I have to go for a Hail Mary.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't need to, but could be strong to get a run by on the cannons, but he could easily play out here. I mean, I know statistics aren't great here, PvZ, but I don't think it's the worst map ever for Toss to play on. So definitely can get in some split map scenarios, 2-player. As you can see, BoA already said in the probe out there, going to play Forge Opener again, like we kind of assumed. And he's going to try to probably block it or maybe even go for some kind of crazy cannon rush back there, man. We're hiding the probe. Overpull here from Zerg.
Yeah, I guess he sees that there's no 12 hatch, so he is just going to back off and now just build his Forge and probably expand in just a moment. We already saw, or we saw in ASL, Mini pulled out this exact strategy, which is the Forge expand. And, well, BoA needs to get in there and figure out what this is, because if he doesn't build cannons and goes Nexus, this game's over.
Yeah, and he's actually blocking that one drone right there pretty well, but the other one came in. Oh, yeah, please build a cannon, BoA. Don't go with the Nexus. But,
dude, he's dead. He still didn't... Well, maybe he's not dead, because I don't know... Nope. He's not dead because the guy built drones.
He built drones. Okay, we're good here. We're good here.
And he built a Nexus despite seeing the pool complete. He's like, you know what? Nexus, baby. And he's not going to get punished.
He is not going to get punished, but the Lings are out. Those 2 Lings are going to get in, Nyoken. The cannon needs to start before the Lings pop to be able to beat it in time. Even with this large pathway here, I don't think he's going to be able to get the cannon up. I think he's got to pull a probe or 2 to block. And we see 3 probes coming now, and he's going to put the gateway down and block.
Wow, this is razor thin. You're playing with fire here, and it's not that easy to hold position probes either, but look at that. He's done a good job. And look at the micro. Impeccable.
Got it.
Oh, he's in there.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Wait, did...
Oh, big!
Ooh, look at that shot from downtown.
Downtown, Nyoken. There it is.
And the follow-up is triple hatchery for Messiah, and that drone gave me some hope for a second. I thought he was ready to put down the Hydrogen, but not the case.
Oh, I can see him doing it. Why not? I mean, the Hydra bust, at least for a wall, to go like 4 Hydra men and then just... Oh, no. Oh, no, Nyoken. Not again. Not again. BoA just took a towel and put it over his eyes. Oh, no.
I've seen so many Protoss versus Zerg lately where the Protoss has lost their probe, and they have literally no intel from the start of the game. And that's exactly what we see here. And now that means BoA kind of just has to go Corsair if he wants to get any intel onto what Zerg is doing.
Yep, he's forced into that. Oh, we do see a lair again. I guess he, Messiah hears your Nyoken. He's like, you know what, I'm just going to play standard just for Nyoken to see this macro games, man.
All right, show it to me, BoA. Show me how to play standard and win versus Zerg. There's the Stargate right there in Zerg's main. Spire should be coming down momentarily. Probe gonna go out. I guess it is a map that has multiple entrances, so maybe he'll scout it. Yeah, but is this a... Okay, there's a huge gap there, dude.
Yep.
Look at the probe, he's gonna miss it.
Is he gonna... I don't know why he's going that way. BoA
Yeah, he needs to go to the left.
Spidey senses are tingling.
Well, even if BoA scouts this third base, just seeing no drones I don't think is a huge tell. Like, he may have just not droned it yet.
And he's only going to see 4 lings at home, so he's thinking, oh my god.
And actually, I realized those lings had speed at the very end, but I don't think when they initially engaged the probe that it had speed. So, BoA...
He may be thinking Hydra.
Yeah, he may be thinking he's just getting hit at the front, but he's about to get hit on... Well, I don't know. He's coming completely from the top side at the moment. Okay, now he's swooping around, and those are very isolated cannons.
Yeah, but if he comes in from the bottom and the top, he may be able to hold just because of the wall in the front, but I thought he was going to take them all down to the left and just run in.
Well, here we go. He needs a probe pull right now, and
right
guess
now.
what? He did not probe pull,
Oh, no,
and he moved him.
No!
He moved him out of position, and that's exactly what Messiah wanted.
Oh my goodness, it breaks my heart right now. No, BoA, no. Not like this.
Not like this, BoA. He's going to try and hold the ramp. Zealots and probes are strong on the ramp, but I don't know if they're this strong. And behind this, we know there's a Spire. Like, this is... Yes, it's very low econ, but there's going to be a transition out of this.
Well, Nyoken, he said, I can win with 27 drones. I can win with 57 drones. I might be able to win with 16 drones.
Yeah. He's going to eliminate everything here. BoA, he's dead, man. That's the only gateway he has also. All the probes are at the bottom. They're going to die. Look at that. Nothing in favor of Protoss this game. It can't get any closer for that Zealot to complete. Look at this. Razz, he's speechless. He's heartbroken right there.
Bro, my heart was here, and then it went like this. Boom, baby. It's gone. It's just gone. It's just so unfortunate. He pulled the Zealots thinking, oh, I'll block the lings from the left. Well, you know what? Here comes the right hook because it's coming in hot with some more lings. And that knocks BoA out and down into the last chance match, man.
Yeah, man. And Messiah, who we had no idea, or at least I didn't have any idea of how he played. He brought it today. Great play versus Gypsy. Huge macro versus BoA. And then he said, Invader, isn't that the map that has 2 openings? Let me remind you that there are. And he busts him down, and he gets out in first place. And I can't even believe this. Just like yesterday, I thought Oyuji and Hawk, they're the favorites to get out. Now we're in the situation where Gypsy or BoA, 100% one of them are gone.
That's it. We thought that these 2 players would probably push their way through, probably playing in that, winners match at least. And you're right, now they're not. And now Gypsy is going to have to fight through a strong BoA here to make it through. But he's got a formidable opponent first, Nyoken and XuanXuan. We don't know. We could see double BBS twice. Proxied in the middle, proxied to the left. Who knows what's going to happen here?
Yeah, I hope he remembers those games versus Mihu a couple seasons ago where XuanXuan did proxy top middle, not even just the middle, like the very top middle of Vermeer. He 8 racks or BBS'd up there. So Gypsy's going to have to be on top of his game versus XuanXuan. We're going to be going into a break, and then we'll be back with that series, which is going to be Gypsy versus XuanXuan at TVT. Welcome back, everybody. We're already in the losers match. We've got two Terrans facing off versus each other. It's going to be Gypsy going up against XuanXuan. And I don't even know what to think for this matchup because Gypsy got picked apart in game one. XuanXuan, he got picked apart, honestly, versus BoA. But he's an aggro player, but he's also very strong just playing normal games.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't get to see much from XuanXuan in terms of, like, actual play. He pulled the boys both games and went for it. So it'll be curious to see what he does against Gypsy. Will he continue that cycle of just getting all in, getting all in, getting all in, or will he try to play a standard macro game? And Gypsy played his games out, hit his builds a little bit, but unfortunately Messiah just seemed to be a little bit too strong in both of those games. So I'm hoping he'll bounce back because he is a really good player.
And we're going to be going into Apocalypse again as our first map. And this map, as we were talking about earlier, has a huge open main. Actually, there's no buildable terrain in the middle of the map, but when you have open mains like that, all of a sudden, stuff like drops become very strong. So we could see something like that. So our players are ready. Let's get into game one of our losers match. It's Gypsy versus XuanXuan Apocalypse. Okay, in the top middle, our Chinese Terran. It is XuanXuan.
And in the bottom right, it is Gypsy.
For those of you that are unaware of Gypsy's playstyle, this guy is definitely somebody that mimics the pros, which means you are likely going to see Vulture Man in this matchup. However, like I was saying, Apocalypse does have a lot of drop potential. In the map pool, we also have La Campanella, which is kind of a weird map, and that also has a lot of drop potential. So these days, players may actually mix in some crazy builds, and that's one way you can catch a standard player off guard.
Yeah, I can imagine Terran versus Terran, this can get kind of crazy. You could be in such a dominating, containing position that all of a sudden you got 5, 6 dropships dropping in your main. All of a sudden you have no units and the game is over. If I remember, there was a Terran who did some crazy play a couple seasons ago that pulled it back, and I believe it was against one of the Chinese players. Do you know that guy?
Yeah, I think I remember that the bus stopped there in that particular matchup. Yeah,
the bus definitely stopped there.
Yeah. Well, we do not have any weird play so far. We've just got standard barracks placement from both sides, putting it near his ledge's Gypsy so he can get an even faster scout with it. And meanwhile, that's going to be a normal 12 gas from him and also 12 gas from XuanXuan.
Yes, it appears so far our quick games under 10 minutes are over. We're getting into the Terran versus Terran. Buckle your seatbelts. We're going in for the long haul here.
Yeah, more than likely this is just going to be a normal long game. There's a lot of, I guess, variations you can do. You can be dropship man, you can be, big time factory macro man, 7 facts, 8 facts. There's the players like me in particular who don't even want to deal with factory man. You just build them out a lot of tanks and go battle cruisers. But I think that it's likely that we could see mass drops from Gypsy because I've seen him actually mix in drops more often. And with this spawn position where he can hold his high ground and have direct access into XuanXuan's main, that could be a killing blow.
Yeah, do you give advantage here to Gypsy in terms of just the map where their bases are?
Oh yeah, for sure. You can also even siege portions of the main from the low ground if Gypsy was to get top right corner for example. He's gotten a little bit lucky here. He found XuanXuan first. XuanXuan, I think, found bottom right, but the Marine denied him from getting in. And Gypsy just playing a safe opener here. A lot of pros actually only go one Marine and then just float their racks, but he's built two here in case XuanXuan decides to get spicy.
Ooh. We know he's a real spicy boy out there. Getting crazy, so I don't mind it from Jip. Might as well make sure he gets into it. What's this? What is this in the top right? There's gonna be something crazy.
I think he's just hiding to scout again.
Okay.
I think if he wanted to do that, he needed to have gas a little bit faster and then put down his proxy factory or starport or whatever it was. And here he comes. He's coming in right at the exact moment when the command center is going to be built. So both players obviously aware of the timing. Gypsy does the same thing, confirms there's command center. And now all you're really looking for here is this guy getting an add-on or not? Because the Vulture deals so much DPS, you really can't scout much more than that.
Yeah, so both players are getting a lot of good information here. Does adding the extra Marine hurt you at all? Because I see that Gypsy's down 2 workers.
I don't think it's a big deal. He did lose his worker. Yes, he's down 1 worker, but he'll have more firepower to push back the racks. So, I mean, that's just something you trade here. You're going to deny vision for a long time. And actually 2 barracks, or 2 Marines, deal a lot of damage. I do see Gypsy did get an add-on, and that looks like a starport. Is this me? Is this me in the bottom right?
He's been learning from the best, man. He's been learning from the best. He knows what to do now. Forget this factory Vulture, man. We're going Wraith tank, baby.
I'm gonna have to start charging this man for accessing my VODs and getting my build orders, because this looks like this could be the big yoke going up with the starport factory into 3-fact Vulture. Honestly, I think 3-fact Vulture is really good versus this because you have such a low unit count. Vultures can lay so many mines, especially on high ground on this map. It's going to be really hard for Gypsy to actually make sure that XuanXuan doesn't just, secure this completely.
Yeah, right. I feel like with the 3-factory Vulture, you kind of gain map control, right, versus this factory starport build. So could get a little tricky just laying tons of mines down.
And Rax confirms exactly what it is. Even though he doesn't see the starport, if it's anything other than starport, I feel like the Terran would be trolling. So the starport is, or the Wraith is out on the map. And actually, XuanXuan got greedy here. And remember, he only built 1 Marine. And now his armory is late too. This armory could be denied for a long time.
Yeah, Gypsy flying in here. Is it worth putting a second one down at the natural?
I think that's actually kind of what you have to do. This 1 Marine's going to try and save the day. It's going to buy him time. And actually, that was a really clutch repair. He got very lucky that the SCV bounced the way he wanted to. And now the armory is going to complete. The Wraith really didn't do much damage. And like I said, you don't have a lot of units as Terran when you go for this opener. So, well, actually, XuanXuan went speed. So he's not going to have the clutch minefield that I was talking about, at least not just yet.
He does get that armory down, surprisingly, with only 2 kills here on the Wraith, and one of those is Marine. Now we have 2 Wraith here, so he'll be able to pick up some kills. And we see now that Gypsy has taken a 3-worker lead here after the openings.
Yeah, this is starting to go back in favor of Gypsy, but Wraiths are very expensive. Like, every single Wraith could have been a tank. You got to consider that. Also, a Wraith is basically the same as a factory, so very fragile units. He did actually get a decent amount of damage done. I wonder what Gypsy's follow-up will be, because I saw an add-on, but I'm not sure if he's getting cloak yet. I still only see him on 1 factory. Okay, he is getting cloak.
Do you think that there'll be potentially here for XuanXuan just to bust him if there's no siege?
Oh yeah, you can 100% bust this. Terran with this type of opener, as I stated, has low unit count for a long time. In fact, I've played the S rank gatekeeper shiny a few times with this particular build, and he's sometimes even just pulled like half of his SCV line because he knows I have no units and just sends them out in the front, and there's just so many of them, it's hard to actually deal with. We don't see that this time, but you can see that XuanXuan should have mines coming in pretty soon. His comsat is done, which means 1 Goliath can push these 2 or 3 Wraiths back pretty easily.
And scan R up. see here, getting some more harass done, picking up a couple more SCVs. One scan down, Gypsy can just probably fly away.
Wow, he's dealing a lot of damage. The Sim City of XuanXuan is really hurting him. The Comsat, you know, body blocks the Goliath from getting into the mineral line. The depots on the right side prevent them from going to the right side. So this was actually a really good choice to go for Cloak. And because he solved the Academy timing, he knows that there's no secondary scan anytime soon. It's going to take a long time to build up that energy. So overall, these raids have really done the damage. Yeah, he's going to lose one. They're expensive units, but look at how few SCVs he has.
Yeah, he's done a great job killing SCVs. Just getting himself a nice lead here into the mid game.
Yeah, this was really good damage. All that Gypsy needs to do now is, you can see there's so many mines set up. Hopefully he didn't miss his Academy timing. If he didn't miss his Academy timing and he's kept XuanXuan back this far, no way is XuanXuan ever going to get on high ground anymore. Gypsy can just expand, and in fact, Gypsy can probably get onto XuanXuan's high ground.
Yeah, and sub that contain tail. Like you said, Nyoken, it's like you're in the game, man. It's like you're playing. Just getting it done here. Oh no.
So he does need to be careful to not run into mines up here. He must have scanned again. He's trying to eliminate the mines, and he's done a good job to eliminate the majority of them. There's still a couple set up at the third base, so Gypsy's third base will be denied a while. XuanXuan actually has a third base already. He's down a lot of workers though, but that's one way he can get back into this game.
Yeah, we see Gypsy continuing to get value from these Wraiths, man. Just killed so many SCVs. I'm bleeding off some units here. Oh, no catch there, but those Wraiths are still racking up SCV kills, man.
Yep, and this is a 5-fact follow-up. Like, Gypsy, he's done so much damage. He knows that Goliaths are not really the unit you even want to build, and he's just going to run over this guy who's built 6 Goliaths to deal with just 2 or 3 Wraiths. Here he comes. I don't even know if XuanXuan has siege at all. He clearly doesn't have mines because he already used them, and Gypsy may just bully him right here.
Gypsy coming forward, sieging, getting a lot of vulture kills. He's going to be able to push onto this high ground, and I think you're right, Nyoken. I don't think the siege is complete yet. And Gypsy looking like he's in a strong position to just take this right here, right now.
Yeah, and once he gets on high ground with this tank count, this game's probably over. There's gonna look at this. He instantly kills the tank. There's only 3 vultures remaining really for XuanXuan. What can he do in this scenario? We've got 7, 8 tanks left over. He's desperately trying to get onto high ground, but already one of the tanks took a ton of damage. The Goliaths are not great versus tanks. Obviously, there go the remaining tanks, and now we've got 7 tanks on the high ground versus a player that has 5-fact. There it is, GG. He sees the writing on the wall.
He knew he couldn't do it. I mean, the supply went down to 57. I think it was 100 to 57. Wow. So Gypsy picking up a big win there, taking it from the real Dan, the build order, looked at his notebook and said, page 4, paragraph 3, 1 fact, 1 starport. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, man. He knew exactly what to do. He did devastating amounts of damage with the Wraith. Had a great follow-up with the 5-fact also. And XuanXuan, like I said, I liked the opener, just a little bit greedy on the armor. You really got to respect the fact that Terrans can mix in Wraith play, and he got punished that time.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to get a little bit, tricky there, saying, "No, I'm just gonna cut, then I'll take a 3rd CC." But Gypsy read it all the way through, got a ton of damage done with the Wraith, and just kind of ran him over, like you said. So, Gypsy looking strong there, taking a 1-0 lead into game number 2.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good confidence booster to Gypsy because he kind of got crushed in his first series versus Messiah. Now he's up 1-0 in the series. XuanXuan really on the back foot now. Yes, he's an aggressive player, but do you want to risk a BBS as your last game? I don't think so, and because of that, I think Gypsy can feel actually pretty confident to go for an insane opener, whether it's gasless expand or, even 14cc.
Yeah, I mean, but do you do something crazy, Nyoken, or do you just play standard like you said and just try to secure that 2nd win?
Well, if you're going to have a victory like that, like you just did, where it was just solid across the board and it looked like XuanXuan had no answer, I guess I would just play the safe bet, which is just go 12 gas. If this guy BBS's, you're just going to win. If he plays a normal game, you're likely to just outplay him, at least based on how the first game went. And there's no way XuanXuan's running it back XuanXuan, he's mad. He wants to run it back, but that's against the rules. He's going to have to go into Polypoid.
Wait, can you build 2 barracks in the middle of Polypoid, Nyoken?
You can. They're not next to each other,
Absolutely,
though.
baby.
Yeah.
XuanXuan don't care. He don't care.
Mm-mm.
As long as there's 2 of them before a supply depot, he's happy.
Okay, well, we'll see if he does that as we get into game 2. Okay, in the top right, it is XuanXuan.
And in the bottom left, 1 game away from moving on, it is Gypsy.
Yep,
Could
so
have
Gypsy.
an NA clash in the next round there, Nyoken. If Gypsy takes this, could get crazy. A lot of history there, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a really tough matchup. Gypsy does pretty well versus BoA, but BoA is just so strong PvT. It's going to be really tough. But, you know, we don't even know if it's going to be Gypsy versus BoA because XuanXuan, he's a strong Terran also. He definitely has the potential to stage a comeback.
And he didn't send out the SCV, so we're not going to see 2 barracks. I'm a little sad. I thought XuanXuan would come through and get after it again, man.
Nope, he's not pulling it out this time. He's just going to have a normal opener. I would love to see him go gasless, just to see if that's maybe one way he can strike back versus Gypsy, because really, Gypsy just pulled him apart at all stages of the game. Maybe he needs to get a little bit of a bigger econ lead versus Gypsy to win this second game.
Yeah. So TVT Polypoid, what are your thoughts right off the bat? Like, is there a build that you prefer other than factory starport? Is it just that? Does it not matter? Does the map change a little bit from Apocalypse?
Well, unlike other matchups like ZVZ, where you're kind of limited to, you know, Ling Muta comps, Terran, you can play Vultures, you can play Tank Goliath, you can play Tank Vulture, you can play Vultures into Goliath on one base, you can do the Tank Wraith like we just saw. There's all types of builds that you can pull out. So, I honestly don't know what we're gonna see now, especially since we see a 14 CC from XuanXuan.
Oh man, XuanXuan, like you said, man, just going for it, man. Can't beat you with some cheese. I'm just gonna go over the eco.
Well, this is the ideal position too. He's got crossbond 14 CC. You know, I've heard that people only 14 CC win their crossbond from your opponent. Have you heard such a thing? I've heard that on the stream a few times.
I've heard that on the stream once in a while, that only happens cross map, but
Yeah.
I only thought it happened to one player, but it must happen to only Terran players from NA, you know?
Yeah, it's unfortunate when a Terran does it to a fellow Terran, you know? It's just like you're stabbing them in the back with this move.
Yeah, absolutely, you know? It's like you're like the worst type of Terran player who do this to other Terran players, you know? Just no love within the Terran community.
I will not be sending you a Christmas card this year. It's just not happening.
Wow, not gonna get... It's a good Christmas card too, Ron. You're gonna miss out.
Well, this could not have gone. This could not have gone better for XuanXuan. He gets a 14 CC. It goes unpunished. Gypsy's building a second Marine, which doesn't help him at all unless he does some type of committed attack. And instead, he lets the second Marine complete. And now what's he gonna do? He's just gonna have to expand himself. I guess he can get instant add-on if he wants. He can try and run by. You know, actually, a lot of games do end on a Vulture run by, but at this level of play, I don't expect that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the worst. I can't say for Terran versus Terran versus Protoss versus Protoss, man, when it's a 12 Nexus and you scout it and you're cross map, you're like, oh man, this is just a tough position. What am I gonna do? You gotta start sorting ways out. You're gonna play back into it.
Well, the first Vulture is moving out, and I will say this. The fact that there's only 2 Marines in the bunker means that if we have a Gosudark G-Dizzle run by, the Vulture could actually get in and do damage. Because you really do need 3 Marines to help to make sure that this Vulture doesn't get in. We'll see if he does commit, though. Is it Gosu? No. Oh.
It is.
Okay, well, you don't want to go that way. Why did it go down to the south? Like, the ramp's at the top, man.
I don't know. Couldn't squeeze through. Eating too many carbs, you know? That poor
Too
Vulture.
many carbs, I guess.
Too many carbs for that vulture. Couldn't squeeze through.
Well, we've got 2 fact follow-up for Gypsy. He's got his add-on. I assume this is going to be for tanks with Siege, but, you know, you can get mines, even though if the opposing player goes vultures, and of course, you know, mines don't help you versus vultures, at least it gives you vision. At least... No! He canceled a factory!
Oh!
He didn't rebuild it? Well, what does he want to do now? Okay, Razz. What does the worker count say?
34 to 25, man.
What the hell happened? 14 CC is good, but it ain't that good. Whatever XuanXuan did to get a 10-11 worker lead, I need this replay because he is cracked out of his mind with how much worker an advantage he has this game.
I mean, that's crazy, man. 10 worker lead is insane, and you know Gypsy's definitely not happy right now with that canceled factory. So double whammy, we're down workers, and we had a little bit of a misclick.
Yeah, I don't know. This is very weird. Gypsy's gonna try and recover his worker count. He's going to armory follow-up. This build is strange, to say the least. Yeah, he has to get the armory, which is fine for him, because common follow-up to 14cc is you go 2-port Wraith. He has no idea because the Rax is, all it sees is gas at the natural. But, yeah, this is not looking good for Gypsy already.
Are we just going to see a third command center come down here?
I guess he could. It would be extremely risky to do that, but I guess he could do that. He has complete control over his high ground.
Yeah, pretty crazy. It looks like he wants to put it down.
Yeah, it does. You know, third base at this position is not exactly the most important base for Terran. You know, it's a mineral only. In general, Terrans want to have mid-right because it has the gas. Gypsy spots the third command center, but unlike, you know, the first game where he did devastating damage with the Wraith and he can punish with a 5-fact follow-up, he can't do that this time. That's just not going to happen. So I wonder if he'll expand himself.
Oh my god, he expanded again! What is this?
the madman! Well, if I was Gypsy and saw this, I would be pretty angry to see that this guy's just trying to double expand on me. Yeah. Just this. But he ain't canceling that. No, that's a command center that's got 1500 HP, baby. We're securing that.
We're gonna get it. We don't care that it's down to 99. We're going for it.
You know, this is how a lot of players played in the past, including myself, is you have tanks. Tanks are good. They hit really hard. What can Terran do? You know, vultures in the past were not a thing. They weren't used for busting. But the current meta doing this is pretty crazy. But if we look at XuanXuan's production, he's going to have 5-fact ahead of Gypsy. He can afford to do this, surprisingly.
Yeah, we see Gypsy putting down a third command center as well, just trying to get his eco up. But we're going to have a 4 command center Terran here, man. That's already at 51 workers. I mean, his economy is going to boom like crazy.
Yeah, Gypsy's putting down a 4th command center himself, and he's going to try and even up the econ. He's done a good job to catch up in supply. What was a 10 worker lead is now just 2. Supplies are pretty much dead even. However, XuanXuan's army is clearly more powerful. He doesn't have essentially any vultures, whereas Gypsy has like 10 vultures. So if they were to face head on, easily XuanXuan would win the battle. But we are going to get into mid-game. Gypsy desperately needs to start ramping up his factory count, because if we see something like 8-9 factories come down from XuanXuan and he sees that Gypsy's just sitting on 3, Gypsy's going to get run the hell over.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how crazy and quick it can go down last games. Could be the reverse here if Gypsy doesn't add, but at least he's got good map control in terms of the mines. He has good visions. He knows when the move-outs will come. I just don't know if Gypsy can defend both of these bases himself. Like you said, the unit count now we see is starting to really have some separation.
Well, these mines are also doing a lot of work, giving a lot of vision. They're all in random spots. If there's an A move and it triggers a mine and gets connections, Gypsy can deal a lot of damage with those mines. And actually, because XuanXuan's not building any of the vultures, the low-tier units that are not very costly, he's feeling not confident to move out onto the map, and that's allowing Gypsy to actually get into a position to set up a contain. However, XuanXuan has vision advantage with that barrack, so this is kind of big. He doesn't even have siege.
We don't have siege. Oh,
well,
no.
I think that was actually kind of a saving move that he doesn't have siege, because if you are playing a good Terran that has vision advantage with the racks like that, they'll just pick off your tanks over and over. So I think that was actually a lucky move there, that he's not going to get punished for that move out.
Hopefully we're not going to move up here, Nyoken. Hopefully we're going to move backwards, and we're not going to try to engage these tanks with no siege. Oh, that first round, though, went on to just vultures. Can't Gypsy do it with no siege, man?
No siege. You don't even need it, man. He's got a starport. He can start building some race. I know that's a common follow-up with this type of style. But XuanXuan also has starport himself, and that's a big siege. Goodbye, tanks. Those are 2 tanks gone. But I think the issue for Gypsy now is, even though he has 4 bases, his upgrades are behind XuanXuan. So you can see +1's done. I saw science facility is already done. So XuanXuan, even though the army is going to be similar right now, +2 power spike is going to be heavily in favor of XuanXuan. And look at that factory flood. We are going into 9 factories.
Yeah, Gypsy going to be putting down his 5th one here finally. Probably needs to get a couple more up there before he can move out, or else he's just not going to be able to match the production at all, and he's just going to have a hard time reinforcing his army.
Yeah, we do have... thought we had a base going down at one of the corners, but not going to be the case. XuanXuan still
big mine.
Yeah, that's the mine that I was talking about. That's a free 125 damage. Those are now basically one-shottable tanks out in the open. Gypsy not able to pounce on it, and look at this. Look at the worker. It's 72 to 61. Gypsy has done a really good job to get back into this game. He's now starting to flood factories himself, but the 9 factory is really going to start kicking in just a second.
What is the max number of SCVs you want here? Okay,
oh, you want like 80, man. 80. The reason you want 80 is because you want to mine out the bases ASAP and then just get up the Doom comp, which is tank DC, right? Like, if you can mine out another main ASAP, and then if it gets busted later, it doesn't matter because you've already mined it out. So you want to mine out everything as fast as you can. We've got a small drop down to probably the main, and there's nothing there just yet.
Yeah, it seems like XuanXuan would like to do some bushline. Here we go. He's going to try to bust Gypsy here in the middle of the map.
I think Gypsy's too extended at all locations. He's trying to defend the middle while trying to defend his 3rd base, while also trying to take top left at the same time. And there's just too many places to defend. XuanXuan's also going to get a drop in the main. It's not a big drop, so it's not game ending, but it's going to be annoying.
Killing a lot of those SCVs off in the main while furthering his position, but Gypsy is taking top left as well, so he's not falling behind in bases here. He'll be able to match another gas here against XuanXuan. But 7, what is that, 7 factories versus 7 versus 9, so 10 now.
Yeah, damn, 10 versus 8, so that's a pretty close factory count. But Gypsy does have his top left base going up right now. We've got a double tank drop. Actually, double tank drop is not that great versus Terran because those SCVs are pretty beefy. That was a good hit, but the tanks are going to die, and really didn't get much, especially when a Terran already has, 5 command centers. Terran doesn't care about losing an SCV here and there. So expensive drops from XuanXuan. He can afford it though, because he's got 5 bases himself.
Yes. When do we start to think about BCs, Nyoken? When do we start thinking, all right, I'm going to start making that comp?
I think if he gets top left, we start thinking about it. That's when you started to split the map. BCs can be devastating, even in just 3 or 4 of them. Plus, look at that +2 power spike for red, but he just doesn't have any units up here. XuanXuan, even though he has the +2 power spike, he's not really making much use of it.
Yeah, he's denying some mining from this base, not getting too many kills. He did not take bottom right. I thought he took bottom right now, so he's actually just started to take the 12 o'clock position and kind of falling behind on bases here. Here's XuanXuan.
Well, top left is going to be saved, and actually, if Gypsy knows about top middle and just moves these units up there and denies that, he'll be up a base. However, I was wondering where XuanXuan's units were, and the Answer is they're in these drop ships, and he's looking to shut down top left. He says, I do not want to get into a split map scenario with you. I want to shut this down immediately. Oh my gosh, those mines, the random mines, man. You gotta be worried about them, and those did catastrophic damage. The entire drop got shut down because of those mines.
Now all of a sudden, Gypsy takes a 40 supply lead, man, and a base, and he's going up to 12 o'clock here. And then there's an SCV transfer. Oh no! Bad news for XuanXuan here. Gypsy catching those SCVs as they transfer, and he's gonna kill this base.
Yeah, I think actually Gypsy's done it. He's secured top left. The drops got obliterated. He's shutting down top middle. He's gonna have a big influx of gas, and of course, you know, drops, they're quite expensive. They're 100 gas. Every single one of them that you built could have been a tank. I think all XuanXuan can do is go for a counterattack, but Gypsy must have scanned it because you see he's coming back. There's a decent amount of tanks here to buy time, but if Gypsy can get the remaining... Oh, he's got raised! I don't think that this is going to work out at all.
Here we go. We're pushing up the ramp. These tanks are firing away. Goliath and tank support coming in while the Razz are doing damage as well. And if we really do need, we could probably pull the boys. And oh my goodness, look at XuanXuan's unit count, man. His supply. Oh, and he just G's out. Wow. Gypsy, despite everything, the 14cc, you know, canceling a factory, still able to show how good of a player he is and push through and take this game.
Yeah, XuanXuan had an amazing opener. I thought we're just going to see this man max out on 200 ASAP and just go for it, but Gypsy somehow closed the supply gap, was even in supply basically the entire game, had better positioning, responded to the drops better. It was great play, and he wins 2-0, and now his reward, you get to play maybe the best PvTer we've got in BSL.
Yeah, wow. I mean, like I said before, these guys have a lot of history. I wonder if that'll play a factor into it. A lot of games played between the two of them, but Gypsy can do it, but he is up against a formidable opponent in BoA. BoA does have crazy strong PvT.
At least he's got circuit breakers on his side, man. That's game one.
He does got circuit breakers, so that's not too bad.
Not too shabby.
Hopefully he'll get those, you know, horizontal positions where you can just push through the bottom or top of the map and siege Protoss, man. Way to go for it. Oh God, I'm out.
Yeah,
Zero heard that we were trying to get rid of Protoss, and boom, he kicked me off the set. He was like, he's out of here, man. Get him out.
Yeah. So we're going to be going into our final break, and then we'll be back with our final series, BoA versus Gypsy. And we are back with the final series of the day. This is what a lot of people were looking forward to. It's got BoA going up against Gypsy, two NA players facing off versus each other, and they're quite similarly skilled. Like, I see a lot of games BoA wins with the bust. I see a lot of games where Gypsy holds the bust and ends up winning, so this should be a close series.
Yeah, these guys definitely playing more matches recently with our NA league that we've been running, so these guys have hit each other a ton. They've had some really wild games that are really close, so this one can go in either direction. It's definitely going to be crazy.
This is definitely going to be really good. I don't think either player is going to do anything absurd like BBS in the middle. I don't expect, some crazy scout pattern and then gateways in your main, especially on circuit breakers. You get a look at both players' results in BSL, and you can see basically when BoA plays, just chalk it up as top 8 every single time. Meanwhile, Gypsy, he even got as far as 3rd place in Season 13, so he goes generally deep every single time too.
Yeah, both these guys are very strong. Going to hit their builds, going to get after it. Like I said, the only thing that could get crazy, they know each other, so maybe we will see some of that mind gaming, a different build that they're not used to using, but I would probably agree with you that they're going to probably both play standard and play with their best at, so...
All right, and everybody knows what this screen means. It means we're ready to get into our game. It's going to be BoA versus Gypsy on circuit breakers. Okay, in the bottom right, our Canadian Terran. It is Gypsy.
And the top left, USA Protoss BoA. All right, well, we're not a horizontal position, so I think that's a positive for BoA here, not to have to deal with that push through the top or the bottom of the map. So, but I think difficult for Terran to push across the map here, right, with the very open middle, but easy to secure 4 bases here as Terran.
Oh yeah, circuit breakers, so easy at 4 bases. Also your 3rd base, you can potentially be sitting on high ground there. Even if you aren't, you can SimCity your 3rd base, depots, bunkers, coming across the bridges through the natural. If BoA wants to go for a bust, that's going to be hard to make work also. So we may actually see a different playstyle from BoA knowing all that.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it would be unfortunate if BoA decided to go for a 12 Nexus, but I don't think I really see him do that build so often. So here we go with just pretty much standard gateway and a scout after.
Yep, and Gypsy gonna go for the forward racks just slightly. BoA respecting the potential that Gypsy could go for some shenanigans, so he is going to scout a little bit quick here. And we've got gas coming down for BoA, I think, in just a second. No, it's an additional pylon, so he's gonna build multiple zealots.
Yeah, we'll see what variation he does. If he's going to go with the gas or if he's just going to go into expansion. Sometimes you can go zealot with the gas and then go goon and pressure the natural, or you could just go or you could just go into a Nexus, but he's chosen to go gas.
And Gypsy is going for a gasless expand. This is going to be kind of rough to hold versus multiple zealots, but this seems like it's only going to be one. And it's luckily cross spawn, so BoA, not sure if he'll actually get much damage done.
Gypsy is going with the gases, right? So the zealots could punish this a little bit, even though it's cross map, especially with no SimCity at the net. Oh, has to take his gas, Nyoken. That's unfortunate right there. Not what he wants to do, but he has to do it.
Yeah, not a big deal though. Terran will just go for a improvised delayed gas build, which is fine. Command center gonna come down. Gypsy still hasn't scouted, so he's going to have more money than usual, where he could potentially afford a bunker and non-stop Marines.
Could we see a proxy robo here from BoA?
We could. You got to keep an eye on whether that zealot does get comboed with the probe. If it doesn't, okay. SCV got denied, at least for now, and he wants him. He got him.
He said, "Come here."
Yeah, come here. Get over here.
Get over here. Oh, baby.
Well, he lost one SCV, but not a big deal. Behind this Nexus going down for BoA. We know that, but Gypsy has no idea because he hasn't scouted at all.
I'm really surprised that BoA only made one zealot and didn't want to pressure with more, considering knowing it's a gasless build, but...
The SCV is if you go across the map, but Protoss saw it. And that means that the Dragoon should be able to intercept. Nope, maybe not.
No Dragoon just yet, but he's cutting a bunch of stuff out so he can kind of push his build, so he should be okay.
Well, Goon gonna come in here and not really be able to do anything other than just make sure No Vulture sneaks out. Don't even think the factory is even done just yet for that to even happen. Zealot moves back into position. Maybe he can get onto the ramp to prevent the SCV from getting in. I think that has to be Robo. Yeah, it is. Halfway done.
Right, pretty much all standard here. Gypsy still hasn't gotten to his base, man. I'm surprised there's no quicker eBay or anything.
Yeah, if this was DT, you're dead. So I think this is where it comes into play where you just know your opponent. Like, how often have you seen BoA go DT versus Terran? Not often,
very
really.
often. Yep.
Oh, he didn't like that Zealot. He's like, dude, you didn't kill those Marines. Here's some punishment.
Way not to block anything. This is what you deserve. Armor eBay decision here. Robotics out here for BoA as well.
Support, I think I saw support bay, right? So Reaver going to be coming pretty soon. We've got the eBay already done for Gypsy, so he'll get his turret ring up in just a moment. I don't see a probe anywhere to build a third Nexus. I think maybe it's a little bit too early for that, but
yeah, normally you want to try to get it around 637, probably 7 here because of the Reaper first. It also depends if he decides he wants to build speed or if he's just going to delay that and then get the Nexus.
we got Armory done, or about to be done, so +1's going to be coming in pretty soon. This was a very fast Armory for how this game has gone. A 5-minute Armory. He's also had to get his gas really quickly. You got to remember that the goons have range, and Gypsy's got good control, but this is always really dangerous, especially versus someone like BoA, who's always on top of his micro. So far, Gypsy's done a really good job to do a decent amount of damage to the goons.
And we see the probe going out here now. He probably get that third Nexus, yes. Really good timing at 6:15, so he's feeling pretty good. He'll be able to use that Reaver to shield off any attacks. He did not opt for a second gateway, just Reaver and Robo.
Yep, turret's coming down at pretty much the perfect time for Gypsy. He's got one at his natural. Should build one near his factories and one in the main. And I think that's actually a third factory that went down for him. Is going to be really start ramping up his production. Could also be a starport because of how fast he got his armory.
And we see here, BoA moving out with this Reaver, man. Gonna try to get as much as he can done, but it seems like Gypsy's pretty well prepared for it. Tanks are in the main, turret up, so.
Yeah, doesn't have any Goliaths though, so that means that the only anti-air that he has are the turrets, and that can be kind of hard to deal with when you have Reaver in your main. He does have the double upgrades going, so if you can get some mines down before the Reaver lands, that could be annoying, but not able to do so. And BoA's just going to get right on in here. Luckily, a third tank comes out, so actually I don't think BoA should expect to get much done. He may get an SCV and a Vulture, but probably that's it. Look at that instant pullback, even saves the SCV.
And that Reaver did take one shot.
Yep, and he's just going to back off, and BoA, he's got his third base up, so he's going to transfer some workers over there. And look at this. BoA really focused on just building a lot of units right now. Still doesn't have his natural gas. And as I say that, of course, there it goes.
Yeah, pretty delayed, so we might be seeing 6, 7, 8 gateways here. Nyoken, and we're looking for that bus timing still.
Yep, if you're going to go for the bus timing, this is the type of build order that you want to do. You really don't want to prioritize gas at all. He is going to go into a fourth Nexus. Now, I have played BoA recently, and in my recent game versus him, he's actually gone from being somebody that sits around 50 probes and goes for a bus to more of a 4-base Protoss that has like 60 probes and then goes for a bus. So actually, he's much harder to play against now because it's not just a, okay, I held, and now I'm in a good spot. It's more like, okay, I held, but this guy still has massive econ, and there will be a second and third follow-up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge difference that you're saying, right? Like now you can play out of the bus as long as you don't just trade your army horribly bad. With 60 probes, you're able to continue the game. And here we go. We see more gateways going down for BoA. I expect at least one more to go to 8 gateways, as he's going to be able to just try to get that unit count up real high.
Yeah, so versus someone like BoA, you've got to ramp up your factory count ASAP. You can see that that's exactly what Gypsy's done. He's got 4 factories already. He's got his science facility done, so his +2 is coming pretty soon. But he's going to be stalled on his command center for a long time. Also, versus busts like what BoA likes to do, which is heavy zealot, you don't need a lot of tanks. You just need like 8 to 10, and then you need a billion vultures so that the vultures never, or so that the zealots don't actually get on top of you. But there's the command center just now started, so Gypsy's setting up like he's going to try and secure that third.
Yeah, I think he should be able to. I mean, the trick is getting out through the choke, right, where the high ground is by the third. Once you secure that area, you're pretty much in good shape there as Terran. Gonna catch probe here, transferring. Pulled the other ones back. Well done by BoA. Gonna clear this little bit of vultures and mines out of the way as he wants to make sure he can secure, get across the map. I do know sometimes BoA does run into those mines, so he's got to be careful clearing them. Get that observer out there. Don't allow any free damage to his units.
Yep, and as expected, here come all the zealots. BoA, like I said, has better econ these days than he did in the past. His 2 Reavers are going to be annoying to deal with. And the Reavers honestly could buy so much time that by the time the Reavers get cleared, BoA's looking for a bust, and Terran may not have any mine set up to actually deal with the zealots. So it's imperative that Gypsy clears out these Reavers ASAP so he can get everything set up at his third base before the incoming bust happens.
Yeah, we see BoA's supply starting to really spike up higher and higher, right? So...
Yep. There goes a Goliath. Oh, the Goliaths are dealing a lot of damage. He knocks down one of the Reavers. That's really good. But in like 2 cycles of units, BoA's going to be maxed out. BoA actually doesn't have as many gateways as I was expecting. And in fact, it seems like he's not going for a bust because top middle is going to be taken. He's going 5 base.
He's going to have to take another main. That's what his decision is. Gypsy getting set up, but you're right. I think BoA is retreating.
Actually, I think BoA is kind of in trouble here. Yes, BoA has supply lead, but he only has 7 gate. He doesn't have Templars. You know, he doesn't have Arbiter tech coming. You're playing versus a Terran who rushed +1 weapon. +2 is probably like 30 seconds away. If BoA wants to bust, it's gotta be right now before all the critical upgrades happen. As I was stating, he may not have a lot of mines set up, and look at those mines. They're right next to the tanks. He's got to be so careful that he doesn't explode his own units. And that mine was so close, but it doesn't explode. The Reaver does unload. Zealot actually does get a good mine explosion right there. Takes down 2 of the tanks.
Oh man, and he's laying more mines by those tanks. He needs to be careful. That's a great mine drag. Oh my goodness, 3 tanks and 2 vultures go down, and it looks like BoA has done it. He's busted through the third base here of Gypsy, and GG is called.
Yep, exactly what I was saying is the Reavers, they needed to buy time, and you could see that even though Gypsy's army is amazing, you gotta have the depots in the front. You gotta have the bunker in the front, or the turret to deal with the shuttle coming in, like anything to mess up the AI, but he didn't. And whenever there's just, you know, the goons and zealots with free reign over the tanks and vultures, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, we knew he had to go there. I think BoA also knew he had to go there. He didn't have his upgrades going. He just needed to get some bust. That position is deadly too, because you can run zealot, like a group of zealots through the ramp, like the 3 bridges, but he didn't even need to. He just flew on top, was able to drag a couple mines, and that's it. Really tough one there for Gyp. So let's hope he can recover here in game number 2, and we'll see what we get out of BoA.
I wonder what map Gypsy will pick, because, I mean, do you want to play a 2-player map versus BoA who will gas steal you? Do you want to play Polypoid? Do you want, like, think about what Gypsy went for last game. He went gasless expand. That's the build that you want to go for. That's the safest, that can get out the biggest econ, and he still didn't hold the timing attack. So I don't know what you pick here, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... Oh, well, we have Invader. I mean, you're going to deal with the gas steal or the proxy gate, but this is a hard map for the Toss to attack on, right? They're like, Protoss has a hard time attacking. I wonder if BoA will go for some type of carrier build to try to stop, because where do you attack Nyoken? Once they push into that like third, like where do you attack down from? I don't see a good opening to hit.
It's really hard to actually engage Terran on this map when every single place you attack is a ramp.
Yeah.
It is very rough. So we may actually see carriers. So let's get into game 2. Gypsy down 1-0. BoA looking to close it out. Okay, in the top left, it's Gypsy, and in the bottom right, the guy that's gonna gateway in our main, it's BoA.
Oh my goodness. Not like this. Not like this. Hopefully Gypsy will have some idea this is coming, but it looks like we're gonna have a 7, well, maybe not a 7 pylon, but it kind of seems like we're gonna do 7 pylon, 7 or 8 gateway again. BoA not messing around. This is strong in this map, man. It's really hard to hold.
Okay, it is not going to be in the main. It is just going to be 7-7 like you said. And you know what's actually good versus 7-7? A wall. A wall. But you unfortunately don't see Terran players ever wall. So this is going to be a micro battle. Gypsy has probably the best Terran micro I've seen in the Terran scene, in the foreign scene. I mean, he's absolutely crazy with it. But 7-7, like the Zealot is in your base before the Marine completes.
Yeah, we have the gateway down, no barracks.
Yeah.
Now, you don't think that Gypsy would take his gas first, would you?
He might. If he does take his... Okay, I think he's too smart for that. Yeah, but I'm looking at this depot positioning. Like, he's got the same setup like what XuanXuan... Well, the same mineral and command center positioning, I mean. Like, Dark Origin, remember, XuanXuan had that slick setup between the command center and the racks. But Gypsy doesn't have that. The Zealots will be able to come through the top side and the left side to engage onto the Marines. Now, I don't know how that probe escaped. He just mineral walked through that.
That was wild. Oh, no.
Lock yourself in. Let there be some justice. Oh, come on.
No justice out here.
He's going to get that
Gypsy
probe.
has to have an idea. Gypsy has to have an idea what he's up against right now.
Well, he should. If there's a battery that comes down, this is going to be a nightmare. And that's, I think, what BoA is setting up to build. Battery. You got to keep the probe alive. You got to do that. He actually kills that pylon really quickly. So far, so good for Gypsy, but he still hasn't scouted. And like I was saying, Zealot in your base before your Marine completes.
And BoA is supply blocked. Oh, here we go. We're pulling through SCVs.
Actually, Gypsy supply blocked in a second, so this is a nightmare scenario for him. But look at the control. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But the Zealot is still dealing a lot of damage. Second Zealot going to come in through the back. That factory is very far forward. But remember, like I said, he's supply blocked, man. He can't build any more Marines.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, though, with that first 2 Marines, man. He's going to kill the Zealot before taking pretty much any deaths on the Marines. But like you said, now we only have 1 versus 1. How do we ever get this factory up? And BoA's not going with an all-in type of just Zealot. There's going to be a goon behind this shortly here, Nyoken.
Yeah, missing the depot is game-changing. He could have had a 3rd Marine by now. Now he's losing SCVs. The probe is still alive. Almost actually got that SCV. He's going to lose another one building the factory count, or building the factory. And this, I think, has just snowballed a little bit too hard. He actually pops the Zealot. If we look at the workers, it's pretty much even at this point. Gypsy is holding, but he's got to get this factory up.
Yeah, he needs the factory up because there's going to be a Dragoon come walking in here shortly, and it's going to be a real problem. Here we go now. We have 2 Zealots in here. There is a Vulture on the way. Is this going to be mini-esque? Are we going to see a Citadel as well from BoA?
Show me the Citadel. No.
Nope. 2 gateways. Okay.
Well, he wants that SCD, man. But is he going to get it? Nope.
Oh, I don't know if he should go there. Oh my goodness. I can't believe he got both of them. I thought he would not because he went into the mineral line. Oh, another SCV down.
He got another one. He got another one.
Another. And we got a hit on that thing. Oh my goodness. And here comes the Dragoon.
Yeah, those are Bonyth levels of hits right there. You got to remember, the gateway is far forward. If he sneaks the vultures across the map, the gateway was not done when we looked at it a moment ago. I don't think this is the move. I do not think he can kill this pylon in time. And now he's going to get sandwiched by double goon. Oh no. Vultures do not have good DPS versus goons either. And there's the second one with no Marines. That Marine died, and he's got to pray that he actually kills this single goon. He is going to get it, but he loses a vulture. He doesn't have any more Marines. He's not looking.
Oh my goodness. Gotta get it. Here we go. We have the second Marine coming down.
This is a disaster for Gypsy. He's going to get rid of the pylon and the gate, but he built so many vultures, which don't help him right now because he can't get into the main. He doesn't have upgrades on them either, so it's not like they're really a threat with mines at all. He cannot afford to lose them, I can tell you that. He's got to at least save them so he can get mines down at some point.
Yeah, he's going to need it. We're continuing marine production there, Nyoken.
He's going to go for a timing, I guess. Oh, no, he's not. He's just trying to fill up the bunker because if you know, if this is Ghosted Arc and he does a run by, you want to at least maximize the amount of damage you deal to him as he goes by.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here. BoA putting down his CC or his Nexus, but the CC from Gypsy was earlier, so.
Yeah, so actually, it looks like we're going to play it out because worker counts are even. We've stabilized. There's 2 vultures out in the field, so it's not like BoA can just, you know, command goons across the map because mines could be set up. So we're somehow just going to get into a normal game state despite all the damage that BoA did.
Yeah, it looks good here. He will pull some SCVs, force the repair, force Gypsy to, you know, use some more of those minerals and lose some mining time with the SCVs. But things should be getting pretty much into a standard easy game. And with those vultures behind Nyoken, he should be able to lay mines behind these dragoons, and hopefully he'll have BoA run into them.
Yeah, he gets connections with the mines. This could be game-changing. BoA does not have a lot of production. Oh, okay, DT drop. You know, actually, BoA did this to me recently. I think I tried to do a timing versus him, and it didn't work. And then the next game, I tried to do it again, and he said, sir, you don't have no detection. And he was right.
Wow, the DT drop is strong, man. And timings against DTs aren't the greatest thing because the last time I checked, those men are invisible. Uh-oh. These dragoons, though. Oh, my God. How?
Okay, well, those are going to connect. Goodbye, goons.
Oh.
What? Only one of them connected. Okay, well, he still gets one.
That's a big deal. No shuttle building yet.
Well, vultures are going to come in here and get some probe kills. Nothing unusual. Nothing looks unusual, really, except maybe the second gas being done. That's a bit weird.
Yeah,
that's a little strange.
Here.
eBay's not done.
He's building it, though, which is going to be key because I don't think the shuttle was building right away right there. So I think he has a little bit of time before the shuttle and the DT get there. Will he even put a... Will he put a turret in the main? Oh, see, no shuttle yet.
He should put a turret in a main. It's meta these days to put it right by your command center, right by your factory, right by your natural command center. But he needs it up there ASAP because the DTs are coming. And if he puts it right between that depot and factory, that could be a pretty slick placement since it's pretty fortified right there. You can see he's moving his tanks in position because he thinks that a drop is coming.
He just thinks it's a Reaver drop. Oh, we're going with 4 DTs. Huge committal. Looking to end this game. No academy. We went Armory, eBay.
Damn, look at BoA's worker count. He is down 10 workers right now, so he has to win with this. It turrets up. It comes down to this. Both turrets are up, but like you said, there's no academy, so if the turret gets sniped, that's how you win the game as Protoss.
I'm surprised that he didn't wait for the 4 DTs. I guess he was worried about a counter push, so he left 2 at home. This turret's going to spot the shuttle, but it's not about the shuttle right now. Uh-oh.
This is
it
dangerous.
can't be.
He should know that there's always going to be a second turret in the main. Like, this is just how you play as Terran. He's going to unload 2 DTs. 2 DTs will beat 3 tanks. He's going to go for it. He already gets 1 of them. He gets 2 of them. And now he can run to the top side and all the depots are up there. Oh, no.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Oh, does he get it?
Oh, my God, he got
it.
No way.
He got it. Now what do you do as Terran?
We're going to panic, put down turrets. We're going to, oh my goodness, great drill.
That is a really good drill. It's buying time, but those things hit really hard. The turret dies again. He still has no academy.
It's almost done.
Well, he didn't lose that many SCVs, so it's actually surprisingly still playable. But as a Terran, you're not feeling like it's playable, that's for sure.
Oh, he's going to cancel that. 1 scanner out there. Gonna go over here. Can he get a couple picks? Uh-oh, that DT walking over to the turret. All right, he gets 1 of the 2 DTs. That's huge. BoA is taking a third base behind this and is finally caught up in workers.
Yep, he has caught up, so he's looking pretty now. Gypsy's still not out of it, but he lost a lot of mining time in his main. His whole build was disrupted. You can see he's floating 600, 600, and behind this, we've got Arbor coming really quickly. So there's no timing for Gypsy at any point in this game. He's just going to be obligated to try and take a third base and split the map.
Yeah, there's no way he can push. If he pushes across, and once Stasis comes out with a low number of tanks, he's just dead.
Yep, exactly. There's the starport. I think that's exactly what you got to do. Gypsy's got to get some more factories down, especially versus someone like BoA, who you know the bust is coming. So he's got to definitely ramp up that production. We've got Vultures going to see the third base not complete. And if I was Gypsy here and saw that the third base was not complete, I'd be either thinking, okay, did you take mid right? Or were you so all in that you couldn't even afford this? And after he sees that there's nothing mid right, he should actually feel like he's in an okay spot.
Scan did go down. I don't know what he saw, but I think BoA is going to play a three base just bust again here. Nyoken. I think he's going to wait for Gypsy to move out towards the either top base or that bottom natural third, and then he's just going to try to bust through again with the stasis timing. And Gypsy unsieging his tanks. I mean, we're not. We're just gonna take a third base, right? Nyoken? We're not gonna.
Yeah, he must. He's got it.
Okay.
He's got to be taking a third base. He doesn't. It's 3-fact. It's 3-fact. 12 minutes into the game. Like, unless you're 4GG, who's the king of timings, I just don't know how you could ever make something like that work. So he is just gonna expand. I think you're right that BoA is just gonna wait and sit back. But I think the reason he's gonna wait and sit back is because he's gonna go for recall, man. Look at how open the main is. There's no turrets there.
You're right. No turrets. Third base is all the units. You see them out there. You can just recall and be done.
Well, I keep looking at that probe count. It's not getting much higher very quickly, so he may actually just try and run him over. He's going to have a single stasis available if he wants to go for it. His goon count is high. His zealot count will obviously ramp up pretty quickly, and the vulture count is really skimpy right now. However, if Gypsy can like double depot below the command center, get off a full wall right there, it's going to be really hard for Protoss to attack into that.
The king of walls, Nyoken, has spoken. Make the wall, man. Make the wall.
Build the wall. Put that eBay right there. Then you can float it if you need to. And here comes BoA, I guess. I guess he is going to try and bust this. He's got the energy for it. It's only one stasis, but Gypsy, he's up 15 workers and he's down 30 supply. So it's actually like he's down 45, army count.
There's a juicy stasis right there for those 3 tanks in the back, which I think is what he's going to go for.
Yep. He needs more vultures. Well, now if you're Terran, you need to pull all your SCVs. Oh my gosh, Zealot Bomb on top of the tanks, and this could be the last life of Gypsy here. A couple tanks end up dying. There's no detection actually for a lot of these units hitting from a distance, the goons. The depot instantly gets killed. The Arbiter's gonna die though, but like I said, there's no vultures here. That's the problem. There's nothing to actually deal with the Zealots.
Oh, it's a good mind drag here. And the Zealots are on the tanks. Lots of goons left over. And it looks like BoA has busted this third base again. And a GG from Gypsy there. Oh, man.
Yeah, it was a nice timing from BoA there, hitting right before, I guess, critical mass for Terran. Terran overbuilt, not necessarily overbuilt, but he didn't really know that BoA was all in with that attack. 40 probes on 3 bases, just went for it. That's an unfortunate way to lose. Like, he had clutch defense versus the Zealots. He had clutch defense versus the DTs after the DTs killed the turrets. And he was even at that point. I couldn't believe he was still even at that point. But BoA a little bit too strong with the timings.
Yeah, really well played from Gypsy, but BoA both times, man, coming in at the perfect time, right amount of units, and just was able to bust through and kill that third base, and that's it, man.
That's it indeed. In retrospect, something that I noticed at the end, if those tanks were on the high ground at the natural instead of on the low ground, all of a sudden you lift your command center and, well, Zealots can't get on you, goons can't get on you, and then you have 55 SCVs versus an all-in 3-base Protoss. But that's something you think of afterwards. But regardless, it was good defense from Gypsy. I'm sure he'll be back next season, but BoA he's going to be moving on to the round of 16 along with his clanmate Messiah.
Yeah, BoA, congrats to him. Played well, got through. I mean, obviously hitting 2 Terran helped him for sure, right? His PVT is crazy strong, and he showed that today, both holding the cheeses from XuanXuan and hitting great timings against Gypsy. So he will be our second person from this group to go through. So well done to him.
Yeah, and yesterday we had, a Terran and a Zerg make it out, so it's nice that we actually get a Protoss into the round of 16 so that we can have, the racial balance, despite being a Terran player, and despite actually really liking Zerg. I do like to see Protoss be represented, because, in ASL, there was only one for a long time.
There was only one. That's right. I won't throw any spoilers out there, so I won't say anything, but I make sure we clip that we hear a Terran player saying that they like to see Protoss go through, so that's huge.
Yeah, don't hear that often.
Don't hear that ever.
Yeah, ever, never, ever. So that's it for today, I guess. We got through this group really quickly in comparison to yesterday. This felt like we speed-runned through the group because every single series was a 2-0. But of course, this tournament couldn't have happened without the support of our Patreon supporters, so we want to thank them for that. $100 level, we have one and only Star Lover and My Fleeting Dream. At $50, we got Striker, Believe in Zero, and Steve Schmidt. $30, Tim, Cuz, Tupacalypse, Iron Tech. $20, we got Medino, JC, Steven Roberts, and Mr. Cat, Suricata, Bryce Bates, Valentina, Bly, On My Way, Gordon Bradley, KJ, Daniel Lopez, LML, and Korg, and all the other Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for supporting the BSL. And of course, we just have straight up donators. You can see at the top, CRVT always up there, man. He's just a consistent donator to BSL. Yeah, he's a hero for sure. And remember, if you're a $10 or above supporter of BSL, you get all the replays from BSL. Well, Razz,
Right, okay.
That's it, man. This was an exciting day. Protoss delivered. I'm sure you're happy about that.
That's what we're talking about, baby. Coming through. Making it happen.
They did make it happen indeed. So we'll be back next week with Group C, and that's, I'm sure, going to be an exciting group. So definitely tune in, and we'll see you there.